Yo legends! Welcome back to the channel. Grab your headphones and lock in, because today's story is on another level. Want the next chapter? Drop a comment below, and if the legend continues, I'm bringing it straight to you. Disclaimer: I do not claim ownership of this story. All rights belong to the original creators. Note: I'm constantly tweaking the settings to make it as immersive as possible. Naruto, Sunagakure Village, Prosperous Village, Strong People. Chapter 252. It's actually the country of Wano. Chapter 252. It's actually the country of Wano. Inside the wormhole, time and space are undeterminable. There is only endless void. I don't know if it was an instant or a lifetime, but Luo Sha finally reached the exit of the wormhole and the coordinates of the One Piece planet given by Otsutsuki Hagoromo. The smell of salty waves came to her, and it took Luo Sha some time to adapt to the new world. When she opened her eyes, she saw a shore, and the sound of crashing waves could be heard simultaneously in her ears. It looks normal. Then he released his cronies. Gaara, Koso, Kimimaro, Heikura, Murasaki, Maki, Shiro, and Orochimaru observed the surroundings curiously, but it was just an ordinary seaside. Just looking at the environment in front of you, it is difficult to identify the specific situation of the alien planet. There are differences. After the development of Rasa, the ninja world is full of natural energy. On the pirate planet, natural energy is not so abundant, only 1/3 of the level of the ninja world. The power of ninjutsu will have some impact on everyone. Gaara controlled the sand on the coast and spun quickly, and he could still perform ninjutsu. Others also started to use ninjutsu, and those who entered senjutsu mode entered senjutsu mode. Ziluo activated the 7th activity, which was no different from the ninjutsu world. However, due to the lack of natural energy, the power was somewhat reduced by 1 to 2%. Luo Sha did not stop their actions, and used his placer gold eyes to quickly sense a range of hundreds of kilometers. In an instant, the surrounding terrain and people entered Luo Sha's mind. Farther away, there was a force that was not weaker than the shadow level, and there were several strong people with shadow level strength. Luo Sha used her spiritual sense to spy on it, and Zio nodded with interest. I really didn't expect that I would actually come to Wano country. That aura that is not weaker than the shadow level must be Kaido. The few shadow level experts are Sanjia and Fei Liubao. The first stop was Kaido's territory. It was a perfect opportunity. The customs of Wano made it much easier for his followers to integrate into them. After all, they were similar to the culture of the ninja world. Not only Rasa has the sensory ninjutsu, but everyone has the means of perception, especially Kagura's inner eye, which is only inferior to Rasa in terms of perception. He couldn't help but sigh. It's such a powerful planet. I feel that there is a person whose aura is not weaker than Lord Yakura, Kimimaro, and Shiro, only a little worse than Gaara. There are many people whose aura is not weaker at all. Master Luo Sha, you really have your own interests in mind when asking us not to underestimate the enemy. Because everyone in Sunagakure village has the aura of Rasa and is a being at the pinnacle of the ninja world, they are qualified to serve as shadows for the 5 major ninja villages. In fact, I have some contempt for Pirate Planet. I didn't expect that a place like this would be such a hidden dragon and crouching tiger. Before setting off, Rasa also gave them a brief introduction to the Pirate King's planet. They learned that there are devil fruits and super strong physical skills, as well as the 3 colors of domineering color, overlord color, armed color, and knowledge color. But what I haven't seen, no matter how I describe it, has no real feeling. Now I can really feel the powerful aura, and everyone has put away their contempt. Anywhere you come, there are so many masters. How dangerous is this world? Even at the 6th path level, if there are enough sieges above the shadow level, they may die. Of course, Lord Luo Sha is now a 6th path high-level person, so it will definitely not be a problem. However, several people came to serve Master Luo Sha, but in the end they were protected by Master Luo Sha. However, compared with the worries of aromatic phosphorus, Ikang, Kimamaro, and Murasaki were full of fighting spirit. The three of them were all one step closer to the sixth path level. They had no suitable opponents, and they didn't expect to meet one as soon as they arrived. Kimamaro said directly to Gara, if you are above the cage level, please don't interfere. Zai Luo said, but there is only one, how can we divide it among the three of us? Yi Kang said, you are still young and you still have a chance, give it to me first. Advisor Sama, this is not the ninja world or Sunagakure village. Please forgive us for not obeying your orders. Yi Kang, really, every one of them was disobedient when they first arrived. Ma Jai and Shiro naturally couldn't argue with this type of fighter, but Orochimaru was obviously more interested in research. I'm very curious. The devil fruit that Master Luo Sha mentioned is said to be very precious, but obviously the island's strong level is not an unknown place. I wonder if there are any devil fruits that I can study. After all, he is one of the most experienced ninjas. Orochimaru guessed a lot of information from Rasa's eyes. If the One Piece planet is really full of strong men above the shadow level, a few people just went back home. Even if Lord Luo Sha was a high-level sixth path master, he still couldn't withstand the siege of hundreds of shadow level and above powerhouses. The place they are in must be the territory of some big force. There might be a few of such cherished devil fruits that he could study, and Orochimaru was already so excited that he couldn't help but feel itchy. Luo Sha directly explained everyone's doubts. We are lucky. The place we are in now is the country of Wano in the New World. I told you in the ninja world that it is the territory of Kaido, the four emperors of the sea. It is indeed not an unknown place. Land. The national conditions of Wano are similar to those of the ninja world, which makes it easier for us to integrate. It turned out to be the Yonko. Before coming, Luo Sha gave everyone some knowledge about the One Piece planet. As a ninja, everyone knows the importance of information and already has a preliminary understanding of the world of One Piece. Knowing that on this planet, the Yonko, Shichibukai, and the Navy headquarters are the three major forces that check and balance each other. The four emperors are already the pinnacle of existence in this world. However, after knowing that it was the territory of Yonko Kaido, everyone was a little discouraged. Is this the pinnacle of the pirate world? Isn't it nothing great above the film level? The emphasis just now seems to be too much, but thinking about it, it seems that I have been following Master Rasa for too long, and I have seen too many 6 levels, and the definition of strength is a bit blurry. You must know that in the past ninja world, only Senju Hashirama and Uchiha Madara were above the cage level. That's all. From this point of view, the One Piece world has at least 10 more cage levels, which is indeed stronger than the ninja world. Ghost Island. Kaido stopped drinking with his subordinates. It's really interesting. There is a stream of undisguised exploration. Who is it? How dare you challenge me, Kaido, with such recklessness? You are so domineering based on your knowledge. Do you think I can't find it? Not only Kaido, but the 3 big posters Jaehin, Quinn, and Jack also felt that they were being spied on. Jack kicked the table over and said, who dares to provoke the beast's pirates? I will destroy them. The noisy banquet stopped, and the beast pirates were a little confused. With their low strength, they had no idea what was happening. Jin stood up and said, let me go and see where this stupid king came from. Transformed into a giant pteranodon and flew to the location of Luo Sha and others. End of this chapter. Chapter 253. What kind of monsters are these? Chapter 253. What kind of monsters are the sensing a powerful aura coming? Luo Sha and others simply waited where they were. When Jin arrived, he saw Luo Sha and others leisurely closing their eyes and concentrating, without any panic, as if they were waiting for him. With such a domineering attitude, it was not surprising to hear that he had arrived. But they are really arrogant newcomers. The performance of several people reminded Jhin of Fire Fist Ace, who also came to Wano country and took advantage of the absence of the main force of the beast pirates to sneak attack on Onigashima. But even Ace couldn't be so arrogant in the face of him. He is the first lieutenant of the beast pirates, and even though Ace later joined Whitebeard, he was behind Marco. He didn't believe that Luo Sha and others didn't know that this was Kaido's territory. Since he was still so fearless, he must be a new pirate who thought he was invincible. Countless pirates like this are killed in the ocean every year. A few more today. Jhin directly accelerated, spread his wings, and used the beast form of Dan Gong Huang to swoop down. Even pirates with over million or less than million would be knocked over by this attack. This is the royal mate of the beast pirates. He possesses the form of an ancient dragon fruit called Pteranodon. The flames on his body are his own. Luo Sha slowly explained to his subordinates. We already know that the devil fruits in the One Piece world include the Superman type, the natural type, and the animal type. In fact, everyone wants to see the Superman type and the natural type. As for the animal type, the tailed beasts are tired of seeing them. There are no ancient behemoths in the ninja world, and that's just what they think of creatures like pterosaurs. Jhin's aura is very strong. As the Emperor's deputy of the beast pirates, his aura has reached the peak of the shadow level. But unfortunately, the weakest among the people who came are the peak of the shadow level by Xiang Phosphorus and Magi. Since he is at the peak of the shadow level, those above the shadow level have no intention of taking action. Zhang Ling raised his hand and said, "Let me try it." His diamond chain can restrain tailed beasts, but I wonder if it will be useful against those with animal fruit abilities. Master Luo Sha said that people with animal abilities are divided into ordinary species, ancient species, and fantasy beast species. Ancient species and fantasy beast species are both very powerful. Due to the language barrier between the Naruto world and the pirate world, Jhin could not understand what everyone was saying, but it did not prevent him from sensing the disinterest in him from everyone's expressions. I was so angry that I laughed. Moreover, under the investigation, the strength of these people was not that strong. Although his body shows signs of exercise, it is not that strong, that is at the level of a vice admiral. Only the one with a scar on his face seemed to have some ability. Naruto and pirates are two different systems. Although the physical skills in the Naruto world are not weak, they are not so conspicuous compared to the pirate world where the physical skills are the strongest. Even the pure physical skills Zai Luo, without turning on the 7-day breathing technique, is under Jhin's perception. Sia is not strong either. The swooping attack is covered in flames, increasing the power of the attack. People who had seen too many fire escape ninjutsus didn't take it seriously. 4 diamond chains stretched out from the abdomen, locking the approaching embers. It was too late for Jhin to turn around again. I didn't expect him to be an ability user, but what kind of ability is this chain fruit tightly bound by the diamond chains? Jhin simply turned into a human animal form. With some strength, no wonder he dared to come to the country of Wano to cause trouble. Zhang Lv Hui reported, "The strength is very strong, not weaker than Zai Luo, and my diamond chain has no restraint effect on him." The diamond chains that conceal the tailed beast's chakra are just ordinary iron chains to Jhin's toothless pteranodon. Luo Sha was not surprised. Animals and tailed beasts are two kinds of creatures. In the ninja world, using diamond chains to catch other animals has only a general effect. He ordered, "Try water escape." The devil fruit is controlled by seawater, and the water escape so what phosphorus has water attributes, and although its level of water escape is not high, it can still be used. Water escape, water cannonballs. He spat out a water ball, which was fist-sized at first, but as the water merged in, it turned into a huge water ball as tall as a person, directly trapping Jhin. Jhin, who was still playful at first, panicked. It is natural for people with fruit abilities to be afraid of water. Who are these people? They can also unleash water attacks. He immediately activated his armed Hachi and broke free from the iron chain. However, just as he was about to avoid the water escape, his feet were locked by sand gold and he was hit by a water escape. Snapped! The water cannonball hit Jae-hin's body, causing no damage to Jae-hin's strong body at all. Jae-hin blinked. The water didn't seem to make the ability user weak at all. But what happened to the extra placer gold on my ankle? How many capable people are there? What's important is that his own Hachi, Shiwens, doesn't give any warning at all. Jae-hin will never admit that it's because he is weak and Shiwens he can't react in time. Crush the sand gold restraints on your ankles with your hands. He distanced himself from the crowd and drew his sword. Guardian of the Fire Dragon Emperor, the huge fire dragon came, and everyone was a little disappointed. We were not here to see the fire dragon bullet in the pirate world. Besides, you, a master at the peak of the cage level, seem to be able to use the fire dragon bullet only at the level of an elite jounin. Bai Shang stepped forward and pointed out. The cold air condensed, and the fire dragon emperor was directly frozen. Then the cold air spread quickly, freezing Jin as well, frozen into a big lump of ice. However, Jin's body quickly ignited with flames, and at the same time his body was covered with armed colors, and he used his strength to shatter Bai's ice escape. People in the pirate world are indeed physically strong. Even if the shadow level is frozen by Bai's ice escape, it cannot be resolved so quickly, and even if it is resolved, nothing will happen. Not only did Jae-hin break free quickly, he was not affected at all. Jae-hin was also extremely panicked. The girl who used the chain before could be said to be a chain fruit. But what happened to this freeze? There cannot be two identical fruits in the same world. The owner of the frozen fruit is Aoki Pheasant, so there is no way that the group in front of him could kill him and take away the fruit. I originally thought they were a bunch of newbies who didn't know what the world was up to, but they turned out to be masters of pretending to be pigs and eating tigers. Jae-hin transformed into a pteranodon again, flew high into the sky, rained down fire, turned around and tried to escape. But the next moment, Luo Sha stretched out his hand, gravity activated, and Jae-hin, who flew dozens of meters away, felt a huge pulling force. Although he tried hard to break free, it was of no use. Luo Sha yanked her huge body back to the beach. In Jae-hin's surprised eyes, Kimimaro pulled out his own spine one by one and locked the humanoid Jae-hin's limbs and head. The fragrant phosphorus diamond chains cannot hold it together, but Kimimaro's bones will definitely be fine. Not to mention the pain in his bones. Jin only felt a chill as he watched Kimimaro pull out 5 vertebrae from his spine without changing his expression. What kind of monsters are these? End of this chapter. Chapter 254. Can Jae-hin be a psychic beast? Chapter 254. Can Jae-hin be a psychic beast? Not only Jae-hin thinks everyone is a monster. Everyone felt that Jae-hin was incredible. It was obvious from the fight just now that Jae-hin was like a giant to everyone. With a height of over 6 meters, he still has such strong flexibility, not to mention the huge strength brought by his huge body. The 4 of them holding hands were almost as tall as Jae-hin. Who are you? Who dare to come to Lord Kaido's territory to cause trouble? Don't think that if you defeat yourself, you will be invincible. If it weren't for the weird attack methods of a few people, Jae-hin wouldn't have been hit. Although defeating himself is indeed commendable, the strongest of the beast pirates is Lord Kaido, and this time it was also because he underestimated the enemy. If more people from the beast pirates came, he would definitely not be captured. Wow. Luo Sha smiled. She couldn't understand Jin's question due to language barrier. The language problem had to be solved first. Learning a language is naturally difficult, but there are shortcuts for you. The golden eye turned into the Sharingan. Jae-hin's consciousness was invaded, and Rasa discovered a special place. It stands to reason that the people on the One Piece planet have not undergone mental training, and their resistance to illusions should be inferior to that of the Naruto world. But Jae-hin's soul is extremely perseverant and seems to be born with resistance to illusions. An ordinary cage-level illusion cast on Jae-hin might not work, but Rasa is a high-level 6 Paths master and has the Sharingan that boosts illusions. In just a few minutes, he learned the language and basic knowledge of Pirate Planet as well as the most recent timeline was extracted from Jae-hin's head. Then he used Sharingan on all his subordinates and passed everything on. It was extremely convenient, and in just a few minutes his subordinates directly mastered the language of the pirate world through the Sharingan. Compared to the blind obedience of everyone in Sand Hidden Village, Orochimaru discovered a new continent. It turns out that the Sharingan can still be used in this way, and Luo Sha can always surprise herself. Jae-hin only felt dizzy, then shook his head violently to wake up, and said angrily, "What did you do to me?" The information has been extracted and there is no need to interrogate Jae-hin. However, it was a bit unexpected that Jae-hin could wake up instantly. This was an illusion performed by Rasa himself using Sharingan, so he could wake up so quickly. Everyone, please note that people on the pirate planet seem to be naturally resistant to illusions. Even if I didn't deliberately target them, even if they were other peak shadow level people, it would take them a while to wake up after being hit by my illusions. All the confidants nodded. The information has been obtained through the Sharingan, and there is no need to interrogate Jae-hin. Ma Jai said, "Lord Luo Sha, do you need to deal with it directly?" Luo Sha said, "It's not necessary. We have been exposed. We are the deputy of the 4 Emperors Regiment after all. And since Jhin is an animal-type ability user, can any of you try to contract to become a psychic beast?" Everyone, is Lord Luo Sha's proposal very exciting? Jae-hin himself is more than 6 meters tall, and after transforming into a pterosaur he is more than 10 meters tall. The important thing is that the pterosaur can fly. Among everyone, only Rasa and Gaara can fly. However, there seems to be a physical technique called moonstep in this world that can make people stay in the air. In fact, it is not that urgent. Finally decided to let Marky give it a try. After all, he is the one who has followed Luo Sha for the longest time, so he should enjoy the benefits in advance. As for Luo Sha, just kidding, if he wants to make a contract with Kaido, he will be so handsome riding a dragon. Jhin had a bad feeling. The leader, who was honored as Luo Sha, didn't know what he had done to him. He felt a stabbing pain in his mind, and then several people actually tried to kill him. What a joke. Although he is currently restricted, he is absolutely confident in breaking away if he activates his armed haki in a desperate situation. As long as the battle breaks out, he can wait for the support of Lord Kaido. However, a group of people looked at themselves strangely. If you still have a contract, you can't possibly think that you can become a summoned beast like in the story. What a joke! But soon he found a man with oil paint on his face approaching, taking out a kunai and preparing to stab him. Of course, Jae-hin couldn't let Maki get what he wanted, so he immediately activated his armed haki. The kunai that Maki thrust towards Jae-hin's thigh was cut off with a sound. Is the armed color domineering? Zai Luo was the first to come closer, poking at Jinbai's steel-hard skin covered in armament color. Luo Sha had just passed on the training method of Jae-hin arms haki to everyone simultaneously, but he didn't have time to practice it for a while. Orochimaru also came closer and stroked Jae-hin's skin, making his body harder than steel. In the ninja world, not even a jounin can do anything to him. Wind release, wind cutter. The B-level ninjutsu was activated and even the cut on Jae-hin's skin was unscathed. Ma Jai also activated wind escape. Wind escape, scythe. As the person with the highest fenden in the field, Ma Jai used Kametachi, which was comparable to an A-level ninjutsu. However, the hit on Jae-hin's body only caused a moderate wound, which healed quickly. This is an A-level ninjutsu, and it is indeed a terrifying strength above the cage level. Ma Jai asked himself, If he wants to fight God of War Jhin one-on-one, he needs to enter the Sage mode and use the A-level wind release ninjutsu with the bonus to cause fatal damage, or directly use S-level powerful ninjutsu. But that's enough. A lot of blood has flowed out from the wound just now. Maki caught part of it, and Orochimaru caught the other part in a flask, preparing to use it for research. It was like this again. Two people actually controlled the wind in the same way. Jin became more and more confused as to how on earth they did it. First there was a child with the same ability as King Jai, and then there were two people with the same ability. Is it some kind of martial arts? The martial arts in the pirate world are also mixed with the power of nature. The most typical one is the swordsman, who can add fire, ice, or even thunder and lightning to his sword. This is the first time I've seen it launched with bare hands. But Jhin didn't want to sit still and wait for death. He activated his sight, and he could feel that the person who took the oil paint to take away his blood was about to do something very bad to him. His whole body was covered with armor, and he broke Kimamero's bones, then transformed into a pterosaur again, flew into the air, and launched Diao Zhai Huang on everyone because the flames seemed to have little effect on everyone. Diao Zhai Huang emits laser-like shock waves. Gaara raised his hand, and the sand on the coast formed a thick wall of sand blocking Jhin's attack. Clatter, the sand is constantly broken and replenished. Again Jin is confused. Which ability is this? Crocodile's swish fruit ability also appears. No, the situation must be told to Lord Kaido. Turn around to leave. But at this time, Ma Jai had already taken out the contract scroll, sprinkled Jhin's blood on the contract scroll, and then signed his name on the scroll with his own blood. Jhin, who had already left, suddenly shook in midair. End of this chapter. Chapter 255. The Invader is still a hero who eliminates harm for the people. Chapter 255. The Invader is still a hero who eliminates harm for the people. A connection of fate bound Jhin and Ma Jai. In an instant, Jhin felt as if he had turned into a cat and dog. He had a master named Ma Jai, shaking his head violently. What the hell did those damn people do to themselves? I am the poster boy of the Beast's pirates, the Emperor and Vice President Flame Calamity. How could I be someone else's cat or dog? As Jhin struggled, the scroll actually began to become unstable, slowly began to produce smoke, and was about to burn down. This is a sign that the contract is about to fail. Of course, it is not easy for the contracted psychic beast to succeed, but it should not happen when Marky's mental power is much higher than Jhin's. Beads of sweat broke out on Marky's face. Luo Sha looked up at the sky, and there was a vague invisible force pouring into Jhin's body, helping him stop Ma Jai's contract. It turned out to be the case. Luo Sha raised her hand, and a Dao-seeking jade formed. She threw it out with all her strength. The Dao-seeking jade turned into a sharp blade in the air and passed through Jhin's head, cutting off the invisible power. Jhin was once again overwhelmed by Marky's power. The scroll that was about to burn also calmed down, and Jhin's name successfully appeared on it. Ma Jai was not happy. If it weren't for Master Luo Sha, he would have failed just now. Although Jhin is very strong, there is still a big gap in spirit. He shouldn't be like this, because he still doesn't have enough cultivation. He said guiltily. I'm sorry, Lord Luo Sha, my practice is still not enough. No, it's not your problem. Rasa looked up at the sky and said to Gaara, Gaara, please enter the Six Paths mode and take a look. When Gaara heard this and joined Shikaku to enter the Six Paths mode, he saw that the world had turned into a different scene, and he and others were resisted by a twisted force. Father, is this? It is the will of the world. Luo Sha said, I don't blame Maki. As people from the ninja world, when we come to the Pirate King's planet, we are essentially invaders. We will naturally be rejected by the will of the world. The power of your ninjutsu is weakened not just because the reason for the lack of natural energy. For One Piece's planet, we are Otsutsuki. make metaphors vividly. So even if there is a big gap between his mental power and Magi, Jhin can still break free from the contract in Magi's hands. Actually, I realized something was wrong from the very beginning. Although Jhin is strong, he is not so strong that even a B-level wind release ninjutsu cannot break through defenses. It is the will of the world that discovered us and keeps adding benefits to those who fight us. After all, among pirates, even the biggest pirates can be trapped by ropes. It makes no sense that the diamond chains of Xiang Phosphorus can tie up the tailed beast but be broken so easily. Everyone understood what Luo Sha said. Everyone had experienced this situation before. When the 3 holy places gave blessings, other village ninjas were weakened in this way when they fought against Sunagakure village. But now everyone's situation is even worse, and the whole world will continue to add blessings to all those who are against them. This made Rasa, who originally planned to go straight to Huanglong and attack Kaido on Ghost Island, change his mind. With absolute strength, perhaps this kind of blessing cannot change the final battle situation, but Luo Sha has a feeling that if he attacks Kaido now, although he can win, Kaido will definitely break through the restrictions at the last moment and be promoted to the 6th path class. Even if he takes action, he will be seriously injured and escape. The blessing of the world's will is so unreasonable. What's more, although Kaido is not the protagonist of the world, he is still an important figure. The will of the world itself will pay attention to Kaido. After all, he is a high-ranking member of the 6 paths. He has always been in contact with the will of the world of the ninja world, and he has all the authority of the ninja world. It is difficult to understand this situation too well. Tell those close to you what you perceive. Magi said, "Is this going to happen?" But now that we are facing Jhin, Kaido will come here sooner or later. Moreover, with our combat power and good blockade, you and Gaara, 2 6th-level people, can still let us go. Kaido ran away. After all, Kaido is only above the shadow level, and the resistance of the world's will has no effect on the 6 paths level. Just look at Otsutsuki, Kinshiki, Momoshiki, and Urashiki. Speaking of Jhin, he had already flown far away and was speeding up to report the news to Kaido. The psychic contract only establishes a connection with the psychic beast, not a slave contract. Orochimaru is very touched by this. Wan Shi has tried to devour his master countless times and refused to obey orders without paying tribute, unless it is an active slave contract like the White Snake Immortal. And Jhin belongs to Magi's forced contract. But summons can still be summoned. The art of psychic. Magi formed the summoning seal, and Jin, who had already flown far away, was still rejoicing for a second. He didn't know what happened to those people, but he had no time to chase him. And there is an extra master in my heart for no reason. But if you want to be my master, don't be ridiculous. As long as you find Lord Kaido and kill them all, this so-called master will naturally be gone. As a result, the next second he was sucked away by the white smoke, and when he opened his eyes again, he was in front of Luo Sha and others. What did you do? Jhin was about to collapse. He had clearly seen Onigashima, but why did he come back in the blink of an eye? Luo Sha said, "Yi Kang and Kimima Lu, you try the burning escape and kill Ash Bones together." Master Luo Sha, is he going to silence you? You must know that the strength of the 2 is only a little behind the 6th level, and the target should be Kaido. However, the 2 of them always carried out Luo Sha's orders unconditionally. They all entered the immortal state. One of them released the burning escape, and the other released the Ash Bones to kill together. What kind of devil fruit is this? How can it still transform with so many abilities? Is it the phantom beast species of the Renren fruit? After being shocked by Luo Sha and others one after another, Jin found the only explanation that seemed reasonable. Only phantom beast species can have multiple abilities at the same time, and after Yi Kang and Kimimaro transformed, they indeed seemed to be phantom beasts. However, the attacks launched by the 2 men made Jhin inexplicably frightened. The black bones and the fireball emitting terrifying temperatures could undoubtedly kill him. The hands are filled with the strongest armed domineering force, killing ash bones and burning escape together with force. Kai Lala, the invincible Xiuodun, was caught with bare hands for the first time. Although it caused burns to Jin, compared with the lethality that no one dared to catch in the ninja world, Ikang still couldn't believe it. The same goes for Kimimaro. The ash bones of the shared killer inserted into Jaehin's arm, and then was forcibly broken by Jaehin. The power of decay was blocked by the armed color, and only the point where it was inserted was decayed. So I understand, the longer we stay, the greater the worlds will reject us. Unless we are blessed and are not our opponent's enemies, otherwise we are going to trouble Kaido now. Only me and my beloved can truly exert our strength. Luo. The facts were before their eyes, and everyone had nothing to say. Kimimaro said, "Then what should we do? We can't just count on you and Gaara. Luo Sha has everything in mind. Don't be impatient. No one has been in contact with the will of the world longer than me. The will of the world on the pirate planet is not perfect. As long as we are recognized by the will of the world, we will naturally not be rejected. The pirate's will to the world is not embodied in a human being like a hand fight, but only vaguely thinking." Ma Jai said, "Then what should we do?" Luo Sha smiled and said, "It's very simple. If we directly deal with Kaido, we are invaders. If we become the generals of Wano and attack Kaido, wouldn't we be heroes who eliminate harm for the people?" End of this chapter. Chapter 256. Orochimaru, are you interested in becoming a general? Chapter 256. Orochimaru, are you interested in becoming a general? The current general of Wano, Kyuten Orochi, originally became a general by usurping the throne. The method of usurping the throne at that time was to use the imitation fruit to imprison Kazuki Sukiyaki, and then transform it into Kazuki Sukiyaki and graft it on, pretending to pass on the imperial edict to pass the position of daimyo to Kyuten Orochi. There may only be one imitation fruit in the pirate world. But is this a big deal to everyone in the ninja world? Can you transform by touching someone's face? In the ninja world, it's just the most basic three-skin technique. Don't make it too simple. Luo Sha already had a clear idea. The reason why everyone is rejected by the will of the world is simply because they do not have a legal identity. Once recognized by the country of Wano, nothing will be a problem. Jaehin was confused. And is it really okay for you to conspire like this in front of Mare? Are you planning to kill someone and silence them? He wanted to retreat secretly while everyone was plotting, but I accidentally touched a branch. Luo Sha and the others turned around upon hearing the sound and smiled kindly at Jin. A sand gold eye turned into a kaleidoscope and came to Jaehin. After a while, Jaehin transformed into a pterosaur and flew back to the island of ghosts. But in his memory, he became a group of new pirates who had no idea how high the world was, but had some strength when they set foot in the country of Wano, and none of the dregs they burned were left. But the strange thing is, why do I always feel like I have an extra master? After solving Jaehin's problem, everyone immediately set off for the flower capital. Ninjas are very strong on their feet. Wano is known as the country, but it is just a larger area in the ninja world. It's not even as big as the Rain country. It didn't take long for the group of people to arrive at the capital of flowers, the capital of Wano country. All I saw along the way was thick black smoke rising from Kaido's factory, and the bones of people and animals everywhere, although from Jaehin's memory I could probably see the tragic scene of Wano. But even the most turbulent period in the ninja world was not as miserable as Wano. If the ninja world is about people bullying others, the pirate world does not treat people as human beings at all. In particular, Wano is not the most powerful country. The deeds of the Qianlong people are even worse than Kaido. Such a being can actually rule the world for hundreds of years. The pungent green river water, pollution everywhere. The living people are skinny and have lifeless eyes. But entering the Flower City is like entering another place, a city where singing and dancing never sleeps. It is the base of the Black Carbon Orochi and the residence of the upper-class nobles of Wano. The dignitaries who colluded with the Black Carbon Serpent all lived here. Away from pollution and with plenty of food, it's like a paradise in Wano. Even Kaido's beast pirates will not easily harass the flower capital. A large number of senior officials often come here for recreation. The defense and force are also the strongest in the entire Wano country. But facing Luo Sha and others, it was useless. Although Heiat and Orochi is very cunning, even in his own mansion, he will change the room he lives in from time to time. Even his subordinates do not know the specific room where Heiat and Orochi sleeps every day. There are also Quangqilang and Orochi Yudingben who patrol and guard every day. But under the condition of sensing ninjutsu, Luo Sha quickly determined the location of the black charcoal snake. When Ma Jai's slap hit the black charcoal snake hard on the face, the confused black charcoal snake opened his eyes and saw that he was surrounded by several people looking at him silently. He was actually blocked in the room despite such a tight defense. Heiat and Orochi knew better than anyone how many people in Wano country wanted to kill him, so he would not choose a room to sleep in until the last moment every day. His strength is bluffing. Even if Kazuki Oden dies, a slightly stronger samurai can kill him. The Yamada no Orochi fruit gave him 8 lives, but in the more than 20 years since he became a daimyo, 5 of these 8 lives have been lost, and now only 3 are left. Of course he cherishes it very much. Unexpectedly, someone came into the room. Where is the damn crazy man? Where are the Imperial Fancer? Was he betrayed? Who are you? If you want money, I can give it to you. The black charcoal snake begged without any thought of breaking free on his own strength. His whole body was locked in placer gold, and a knife was pressed against his neck. If you don't want money, I can give you status and rights, as long as you don't kill me. I still have 3 lives left. It's better to survive or not. The Black Carbon Orochi is very good at observing people's emotions. Over the years, those who have assassinated him have always been determined to kill him on the spot, and then he would use the power of the Yamada no Orochi to secretly resurrect him and entangle his subordinates to kill him. Anyone who wakes up for a chat like this probably doesn't want to kill him that much. As long as you contribute money and the like, saving your life is not a problem. Even under such strict protective measures, the person who can sneak in and kill him must be a master. If he can really impress with money and power, it is still worth it. This is how Quangqilang was moved to become his bodyguard. However, his words caused everyone to chuckle. Money and power are things we value. Seeing that everyone was unmoved, the Black Carbon Orochi was not panicked. No one knew that he still had 3 lives. Since he couldn't be bribed, it was better for them to kill him, then cause a commotion and let his men come to save him. After so many years as a general, Black Carbon Orochi is still somewhat decisive. Instantly transformed into Yamada no Orochi, its 8 heads screamed and bit everyone, and was immediately trapped by the fragrant phosphorus diamond chains. It doesn't matter if Jhin can break free from the chains. Why are you, a loser who just eats, drinks, and has fun, so arrogant? You have the ability to kill me? This general is not afraid of death. It seems like you still have a lot of life left. Even if it's full, we can just kill you 9 times. Luo Sha exposes Black Carbon Orochi's trump card. The black charcoal snake said in a panic, "What do you mean? Do these people know that they have 8 lives? There is no mention of this in the Devil Fruit Encyclopedia. Yama no Orochi only has 8 lives, and I don't think you have 8 anymore." After speaking, Luo Sha suddenly smiled and said, "I said Orochimaru, this guy is not related to you." Everyone else stopped smiling. The snake-like appearance was indeed somewhat similar to Orochimaru's. Orochimaru has a black streak, and he has been unhappy with the black charcoal snake since the beginning. You can actually transform into the Yamada no Orochi, which is so similar to his own Yamada no Jutsu. But the Yamada no Orochi of the Black Tan Orochi is a complete disgrace among snakes. How dare a loser like you eat the Yamada no Orochi fruit? The reputation of Yamada no Orochi was lost for nothing, and even if Luo Sha had no plans, the black charcoal snake was already on Orochimaru's must-kill list. Lord Luo Sha, I wonder how you plan to use the black carbon Orochi. If Lord Rasa hadn't thought about it well, Orochimaru had already thought of countless ways to ensure that the black tan Orochi would regret eating the Yamada Orochi fruit. Luo Sha said, "Of course I thought of a way, but Orochimaru, are you interested in becoming the new general of Wano country?" End of this chapter. Chapter 257. If you can't do it well, come and see me. Chapter 257. If you can't do it well, come and see me. Although he is a powerful general, everyone in Sunagakure village avoids him. At first, Rasa was interested in Gaara, but Gaara clearly refused. He finally got rid of becoming the Kasage in Sunagakure village, but ended up going to the pirate world to become a general. How is this possible? Others refused without even thinking. And Rasa cannot be trapped in the small country of Wano. The truth of this world must be in the hands of the world government. Based on the information Jhin possesses, the current timeline is 1 year after the end of the Dingshang War, and the Navy has launched a worldwide recruitment campaign around the world. The chaotic world of pirates has this advantage: there is no way to explore the specific origin. However, it is still difficult to enter the Navy and climb to the top, but now the opportunity has come. World recruits can become admirals in one fell swoop, and the probability of being exposed to the core secrets of the government is quite high. Speeding up the resolution of Wano's problems and participating in the world conscription is Luo Sha's next plan. There are also arrangements for other people, Rasa, and it is destined that there will not be too many people staying in Wano country. On the other hand, Wano country is very important and is the link between the ninja world and the pirate world. In the future, I will go back to the ninja world to shake people and so on. Therefore, the country of Wano must be controlled in its own hands. Gaara didn't agree, so he had to let him do other things. Among the remaining people, only Orochimaru and Maki could manage a good force. Maki also made it clear that he can be a deputy, but he is not capable of being in charge, and he lacks the ability to make decisions on key matters. So Rasa asked Orochimaru. Although Orochimaru is also interested in the world of pirates, compared to others, he has managed the Sound Ninja Village and knows the importance of fixed territory better than others. What's more, he is engaged in research. Research requires a stable place. The full set of experimental tools he carries are in the seal scroll. In addition, everything in Wano country is enough for him to study for a long time. It was just Jhin's blood and those animals that looked like Stitch monsters along the way. Orochimaru couldn't wait to get started. Moreover, he can be a general and have Majai as his deputy, which is similar to Tianjiguo, so he doesn't have to worry about it. Staying in Wano for the time being is a good option. Lord Luo Sha, if that's the case, then let me be the general first. As the only outsider among the crowd, Master Luo Sha asked for his opinion, and it was a bit ungrateful to refuse. Although Master Luo Sha probably wouldn't think too much about it, others will always have ideas. All things considered, Orochimaru had no reason to refuse. In this case, let's first tell everyone about your plan, and everyone will naturally support it. Black Carbon Orochi listened to everyone's calculations against him and laughed loudly. What are you doing in the spring and autumn dream? Do you think I will cooperate obediently? You are so audacious. You actually have Kaido's idea. I don't know how to write the word death. I originally thought that everyone was just dealing with me, but I didn't expect that they were so arrogant that they wanted to deal with Kaido. They were just looking for death. Even if all the troops of Wano are deployed, they will not be Kaido's opponent now. The most important thing is that as the core of the plan, it is impossible for me to cooperate with them. Did we say we needed your cooperation? Ma Jai looked displeased. Didn't you see that Master Luo Sha was giving us instructions? Why did you interrupt? Without my cooperation, your plan would be impossible to realize. If you are wise, you can let me go and give you status and rights no less than those of a general. Black Carbon Orochi is still trying to win over. Then he saw Magi glance at himself, form seals with his hands. White smoke flashed, and he became exactly the same as himself. Are you a person with the ability to imitate the fruit? The black charcoal snake's teeth chattered as he remembered that Kazuki Sukiyaki, who was killed by him, had used such a trick to seize the position of general of Wano country. As a result, the same method was used on myself. No wrong. He was able to rise to the top thanks to his status as a member of the Heighten family, and they had never met any of them. You must know that the country of Wano is also very exclusive. If you want to copy your success, unless you have the corresponding status, you will have to go against your own face lives a lifetime. But this will definitely be discovered by his subordinates. Besides, why go against Kaido? You must know that without Kaido's protection, Wano country would have been doomed long ago. Even if you replace me, it's useless. You can't gain a foothold in Wano country without status. It's easy to gain a foothold in Wano. It's just a status. What if it was given by God? Luo Sha smiled mysteriously. Exclusion has its benefits. In the myth of Wano, Yamada no Orochi and Inugami are two legends that cannot be escaped. One was eaten by the black charcoal snake and the other was eaten by Yamato. How can one's identity be compared to that of a divine messenger? Okay, Black Carbon Orochi, you know enough and enjoy enough. You should be happy that, at the end of your life, Wano country may respect you and reverse your brutal image for decades. Luo Sha approached step by step, and the black charcoal snake was really panicked. He felt fear and didn't know what Luo Sha was going to do, but it was definitely not a good thing. The body struggled violently. Damn the subordinate, why haven't you reacted to the big noise that you just transformed into? And Kwangshilang, I gave you so much money, and this is how you protect me. The eyes of placer gold flowed, the patterns of other gods took shape, the black charcoal serpent looked at the eyes that appeared in the air, and gradually the thoughts were absorbed and rewritten by Luo Sha. It was not often used in the ninja world before, but it was only in the pirate world that I discovered how useful the Sharingan is. Moreover, after the 6th level, there are no side effects or any cooling time. After Luo Sha finished everything, the Imperial Guardsmen and Kwangshiru, who were originally responsible for the defense, finally rushed over, only to find that the window was broken, and the black charcoal snake turned into the appearance of Yamada no Orochi, breathing heavily. My lord, are you all right? Fu Lushu, the leader of the Imperial Court fans, asked. Do you think I'm fine? The black charcoal snake said angrily. Every one of them waited until I was assassinated before they reacted, causing me to lose another life. What's the use of raising you? Everyone in the royal court lowered their heads and did not dare to speak. Kwangshilang was drinking. He was a guest of Heighten Orochi, and he did not need to be as humble as the Imperial fans. Normally, Heighten Orochi would have enough respect for Kwangshilang. However, today's Heighten Orochi was equally unhappy with Kwangshiru. And you too, with my hefty commission, is this how you work? Yu Kwangshiru and his family are collecting protection fees indiscriminately in Wano country and corrupting me. Is there any ulterior secret about his reputation? Kwangshilang was sweating. Maybe his disguise had been seen through. Of course, those funds are waiting for the return of Kazuki's retainers to overthrow you. Forgive me, General. Forget it, the other party has escaped. Now I need you to do something. If you can't do it well, come to see me one by one. End of this chapter. Chapter 258 Hachi no Orochi will save us. Chapter 258 Yamada no Orochi will save us the whole country of Wano. Flower City, Nozomi, Suzuo, Baiwu, Tuan, Giri. Whether it was the starved weary village, the quarry where prisoners were imprisoned, or Kaido's various arsenals. According to the order of Wano General Cute and Orochi, light paintings were broadcast in all places today. Ordinarily, the current day is not an important festival or anniversary. The people of Wano are very confused and don't know what the black charcoal snake is planning to do. Even Kaido didn't know that Luo Sha was tremblingly hoping Kaido would cooperate with Black Carbon Orochi's broadcast yesterday. Kaido didn't think too much about what the useless Black Carbon Orochi could do. However, as a puppet regime, it is still very qualified, and Kaido is willing to be accommodating on such insignificant matters. Being hungover, he didn't feel at all that something was wrong with Luo Sha's irregular heartbeat. I'm still thinking about the pirates who were killed by Jhin last night. Are the newcomers so powerful now? They can actually hurt Jhin. It seems like Supernova's Drake, Hawkins, and Apu all want to join their pirate group. How about agreeing and that kid named Kid is always causing trouble for himself? Really, this evil era doesn't take big pirates like myself seriously at all. Even if you love talents, you should teach these thorny people some lessons. He waved his hand to dismiss Luo Sha. Luo Sha was glad that he had saved his life. If Kaido knew what the black charcoal snake planned to broadcast, he would have to be sacrificed. Thinking of what the Imperial Court fans and Kyusaru's family did last night, I could only lament that Black Carbon Orochi might be crazy. The Black Carbon Orochi is planning to do something again. He has nothing to do, but we still have to live. The residents of Wano country struggle for food and clothing every day. If they are delayed by the black charcoal snake for no reason, they may not have anything to eat today. However, Heighten Orochi said that today's live broadcast was very important. The samurai who obeyed him came to various villages and towns to force everyone to watch today's live broadcast. Everyone has already guessed that it is nothing more than self-praising and praising others. If you hadn't attracted Kaido back then, why would the country of Wano be like this? No, however, under the force of the samurai, he could only sit in front of the live broadcast screen. Compared with the dilapidated Wily village and Yuo town, the prosperous Flower City is also restless. Black Carbon Orochi was assassinated yesterday. The Imperial Court fans and the Quangjilang family, along with their attached samurai, searched the entire city and captured many people. It made people panic, not knowing what the black charcoal snake was planning to do. Finally, as the screen opened, the black charcoal snake appeared in the camera. Behind him was the execution square. The black charcoal snake was kneeling on the ground with a look of repentance. In the execution square, people were tied to hundreds of execution posts. According to past convention, it should be a rebel warrior who is against the Black Carbon Orochi or someone who disobeys the Black Carbon Orochi. But when the camera zoomed in, the people of Wano country were shocked, and they all rubbed their eyes, confirming in disbelief. Those tied to the execution pillar were all dignitaries from Wano country, and they were all those dignitaries who flattered the black charcoal snake. Each and every one of them had bruises and had been punished. Is Black Carbon Orochi crazy? Must know that the current position of General Kuroten Orochi is secure. Half of the reason is that Kazuki Sukiyaki personally passed the throne back then. On the one hand, it is the support of these black-hearted powerful people. As a result, the Black Carbon Orochi now tied them all to the execution stake. There are rumors that the Black Carbon Orochi was assassinated last night and was arresting people in the Flower Capital. But arresting these people would not shake his own foundation. Even with Kaido's support, Orochi's position as general is not so stable. So what is the plan of Black Carbon Orochi? Just when the people of Wano were confused, the black charcoal snake kowtowed loudly, bleeding from its forehead, and did not wipe it away despite the blood flowing. Everyone was confused at the beginning. The black charcoal snake kowtowed to apologize. What was he planning to do? Even Kaido is frowning. Is this what Black Carbon Orochi wants to do during the live broadcast? Dear citizens of Wano country, I am the current general of Wano country, Black Carbon Orochi. I am guilty and I am sorry to every citizen of Wano country. With his bleeding face, no one doubted the sincerity of the black carbon Orochi. The question was, how could the black carbon Orochi do such a thing? On the roof not far away, Rossi used Sharingan to control the actions of the black charcoal snake, fearing that the will of the world would interfere. But Luo Sha thinks too much. Even the will of the world doesn't bother to interfere with this kind of person. The black charcoal snake continued to cow out loudly. Back then, I asked Kaido to be stationed in order to protect the safety of Wano country. Because of Kazuki Oden's wanton behavior, he followed the Whitebeard pirates and Roger pirates successively. Wano country has been invaded by many forces and the world government is targeting Wano, and many people are interested in Wano. However, Kazuki Oden, who only causes trouble, has yet to come back. Wano is not strong enough, so I made an agreement with Kaido to protect Wano country. Black Carbon Orochi burst into tears, as if he really cooperated with Kaido for the sake of Wano. Everyone's thoughts were also brought back. A few decades ago, Kazuki Oden was indeed shouting for the founding of the country every day, and even made Kazuki Sukiyaki popular to death. Did it turn out that he also attracted the covetousness of other forces? After being reminded by the black carbon Orochi, everyone remembered Kazuki Oden's actions. He seizes women, digs people's graves, and cooks hot pot with their bones, causing trouble to Wano country several times. They are just gangsters and scoundrels, and they are also not good people. It's just that they have been bullied by Kyoto and Orochi for a long time, and they unconsciously regard the slightly okay Kazuki Oden as a good person. After being reminded by Kyoto and Orochi, they remember that they are also not good people. Good people. Why does Wano always have to be led by people like this? What I never expected was that I would lead a wolf into my house. Kaido, a bastard, wantonly destroyed Wano country and did not regard the citizens of Wano country as human beings. I endured the humiliation and wanted to wait for Kazuki Oden to come back and overthrow Kaido together, because at that time, Kaido's foundation in Wano was not yet stable, and the daimyo from all over the country were also powerful people, and they would definitely overthrow Kaido by joining forces. But what I didn't expect was that Kazuki Oden was actually a man who was greedy for life and afraid of death. Because of the safety of his family, he did not care about the life and death of the people in the country. He pretended to be crazy and stupid for so many years. By the time he made up his mind to resist Kaido, Kaido had already lost his power. Dasheng. Before the live broadcast, Kaido was so angry that he laughed, pointed at the black charcoal snake and said, "Is he impatient? Is this preparation for an uprising? Authors don't know that you, Black Carbon Orochi, don't you know how much Wano country wastes? Citizens of Wano were also brought back to Kazuki Oden. The time of Kazuki Oden's return is almost consistent with what Black Carbon Orochi said. At that time, Kaido's foothold was not stable. If the daimyo from various places cooperated with Kazuki Oden, they might not be unable to win. Was it for family? I am not shirking my responsibility. As the instigator, I am unforgivable. I just want to tell you that no one is the savior. I originally wanted to wait for a year later, when the legend comes, and the 9 heroes defeat me, defeat Kaido, and save Wano country. But just yesterday, when I was on the verge of death, I received instructions from Yamada no Orochi. Yamada no Orochi will come to Wano country and rescue us. Right over my dead body." End of this chapter. Chapter 259, The Crazy Black Carbon Snake. Chapter 259, The Crazy Black Carbon Snake. Is Black Carbon Orochi crazy? This was everyone's first reaction. He insulted Kaido so unscrupulously and called on the people to resist. Although the citizens of Wano did not have much favorable impressions of the Black Carbon Orochi and wanted to overthrow him, within 20 years, the bloody samurai had already been executed, and the rest were either dormant or cautious. Besides, even if you, Black Carbon Orochi, really want to go to war with Kaido, you still need to be prepared in advance, right? Just suddenly a national broadcast, an uprising? What about weapons? What about the battle plan? At least you should free the prisoners in the quarry. Those are warriors who are capable of fighting. He spoke impassionedly about Yamada no Orochi saving the country of Wano. Yes, everyone knows that you can transform into Yamada no Orochi. Is it possible that you can defeat Kaido by yourself? As myths and legends of Wano, Yamada no Orochi and Inugami are naturally known to the people of Wano, but for more than 20 years, the situation has been precarious, and who cares whether it is a myth or not? Everyone just thought it was because Black Carbon Orochi was irrational after being assassinated last night. Also irrational were Kuzuki Oden's old subordinates. Quang Shilang took a big gulp of wine before suppressing the murderous intention in his heart. Last night, they were arresting powerful people everywhere. Unexpectedly, Black Carbon Orochi was trying to prove his own crime. I won't stop you from proving your crime. But why would you involve Oden-san? What is the covetousness that Oden-sama has attracted to the country of Wano? It was obviously you and Kaido who cooperated, but Oden-sama danced naked for the sacrifice of everyone, but you actually said that he was afraid of death. The crazy man is going crazy. Nonsense, Oden-sama is not that kind of person. Hiyori Kazuki, who also transformed into Kamirasaki in the geisha clubhouse, blushed and retorted. The other geisha around her looked at Saiozi in confusion. Why was this top geisha who only cared about money excites Oden? Your father? That's right. I voluntarily committed myself to Oden-sama. The older geisha teacher missed that warm embrace with eyes. It's just that many women from good families were abandoned by their husbands. What's more, it's good to be a geisha. Saiozi's cognition is a bit broken. My father is not that kind of person. Don't slander Lord Oden. In the prison, the Kappa Hesung shook the cell door. He did not agree with the words of the black charcoal snake. At this time, a prisoner walked by and said disdainfully, "What slander? Black Carbon Orochi is not a good thing, and neither is Kazuki Oden. At first, our family was just peacefully farming and making a fortune, but he targeted him and robbed him. He stole our family's land and money, so he deserves to die. In the mountains and forests, Asura Doji doesn't matter. He is a big bastard in Kyuri, and only Kazuki Oden, who is an even bastard than him, is worthy of following him." In Ebisu town, Shigesuke Yasuji, who transformed into Tono Yasu, looked at the black charcoal snake in the picture in disbelief. Is the Black Carbon Orochi really trying to protect the country of Wano? Recalling all that Kazuki Oden did, well, to be able to become the daimyo of Kyuri, a lawless land, Kazuki Oden could be said to be the biggest lawless man in Wano country at that time. The Shuanyu Kang family couldn't help but feel a little regretful. Yes, why didn't we become the daimyo in the first place, and we had to choose one of the two bastards, Kyoten Orochi and Kazuki Oden? Kazuki Sukiyaki, who goes by the pseudonym Hidoru Tengayama in Nagasa village, sighed. He didn't like Kazuki Oden either, otherwise why would he throw it away after he was born? He had tried to discipline him, but the child was naturally disobedient to discipline. Unifying Jiyuri was probably the only right thing he had done. After being reminded by the Black Carbon Orochi, the people of Wano country all remembered Kazuki Oden's actions and felt itching with hatred. I was originally looking forward to the redemption of Guangyu's retainers next year, but now I have given up my thoughts. Just like the black charcoal snake said, why not redeem yourself? The sand gold eye sensed the uprising in Wano, and Luo Sha knew that the goal had been achieved, and immediately controlled the Black Carbon Orochi to continue the final plan. The black charcoal snake transformed into the appearance of Yamada no Orochi, pointed at the powerful people behind him who were oppressing the people of Wano country, and said, "Today is the awakening day of Wano country. I will sacrifice my death in exchange for Wano country. The redemption of the people is exchanged for the liberation of the people, and the blood of these corrupt nobles is the clarion call for uprising." The gesture fell, and the warriors responsible for the execution raised their guns and fired with bang bang bang. The powerful people are struggling fiercely, but you, the black charcoal snake, are actually serious. If we die, the foundation of your rule will be gone. If I had known, I would have resisted yesterday. If these people unite, they are not without the strength to resist. They all thought that the black charcoal snake was catching the assassin, so they cooperated and were caught. Not only was he beaten, but now he was going to be executed. We oppress the people, and it is not with your acquiescence. However, bullets have no eyes, and after several rounds of shooting, all the dignitaries were dead. The people of Wano finally realized that the black charcoal snake was actually real. All citizens rise up and resist. We are not meat to be slaughtered by others. Without the 9 heroes of Red Sky, Yamada no Orochi will save us. Kaido, in the name of the General of Wano, I order you to get out of Wano immediately. Otherwise I will activate the power of Yamada no Orochi and drive you out of Wano. Black Carbon Orochi issued a declaration of war. Everyone knew that Black Carbon Orochi was determined. Kaido from Onigashima seemed to be looking at a clown, patting his thigh so hard that he burst into tears from laughter. This black charcoal snake was assassinated yesterday. You are crazy, right? How dare you declare war on me? You want to expel me from the country of Wano. Since you are crazy, don't keep me. There are many dogs. Although the black charcoal snake has been very successful as Kaido's dog over the years, since he dares to bite his master, the only outcome is to be beaten to death. Wano country only had one chance to attack itself, and that was when Kazuki Oden had just returned and the daimyo everywhere were at their peak. At that time, Kaido really had no confidence that he could suppress Wano country. Now, 20 years later, even if the whole country of Wano resists, there is no chance of success. Although the black charcoal snake killed all the feeble dignitaries, there are still many former dignitaries who have surrendered in the dungeon, and they can just support a new one. Whoever is in the Flower City, go and kill the crazy black charcoal snake. It's just a black charcoal snake, and it's not worthy of the beast's pirates fight. The Imperial Guardsmen under his command are even less worth mentioning, and they're not even as good as a real fight from the beast's pirates. Only that crazy death man still has some strength. Jack happens to be nearby and has already gone with 3 barbarian tyrants as well as Pegamin and Sasaki as well as the assembled Shinda. Jhin told Kaido the message just sent by Jack. Because he was nearby and saw the behavior of the Black Carbon Orochi, the grumpy Jack immediately gathered people to kill the Black Carbon Orochi. Kaido nodded. This lineup is more than enough to deal with the Black Carbon Orochi. Where are the factories and quarries? Are there any riots? Jhin replied, no, the Black Carbon Orochi is unpopular in Wano country, and the prisoners have no weapons and do not dare to rebel. Kaido took a big gulp of wine. Very good. Doesn't Black Carbon Orochi like live streaming? Then live broadcast how he dies. I asked Jack to kill him for me. I really thought I didn't know that Yamada no Orochi has 8 lives. Jhin was ordered to inform Jack. But for some reason, a faint feeling of uneasiness arose in my heart. End of this chapter. Chapter 260 Hachi no Orochi really arrived. Chapter 260 Yamada no Orochi really arrived. The furious drought Jack took Pegamin, Sasaki, and a group of Shinda to the flower capital. Seeing the black charcoal snake resisting Kaido in the live broadcast, he was already furious. He had just been ordered by Lord Kaido to kill him. The country of Wano has never been completely stable in these years. If you, Black Carbon Orochi, dare to lead a rebellion, then go to hell. He transformed into a mammoth and ran rampant on the streets, knocking people watching the live broadcast in the Flower City off their feet, and soon arrived at the execution ground. So in the live broadcast, Jack's giant mammoth and cute Orochi's Yamada no Orochi were facing each other. In terms of size, Yamada no Orochi was slightly larger than the mammoth. But judging from the iron-blooded aura exuding from his body, the black carbon snake is no match for Drought Jack. Even if they are not present at the scene, everyone can clearly feel it from the live broadcast. Jack was surprised. In the past, the black charcoal snake that he always fawned over every time he saw him was not afraid at all this time. He already knew that the Yamada no Orochi would have 8 lives. However, based on the strength of the black charcoal snake, even if it has 100 lives, it is not enough to kill it. Or do you think that your ragtag group of samurai and imperial fans can play any role? Nose flicked. Kill me, leave no one behind. Pegamin and Sasaki, as well as the second, third, and fifth ghosts among the barbarian tyrants and several real fighting level cotters rushed towards the black charcoal snake. The black carbon Orochi's side actually has a lot of people, up to 1,000, but there are only a few who can really fight and have the ability, only Quang Shi Lang and Yu Ting Fan Zhang. However, the level of the Imperial Guardsmen is only real fighting, even slightly lower. The Imperial Guardsmen have already cursed the black carbon Orochi in their hearts. Why are they going crazy and going against the beast pirates? But they have already betrayed the Kazuki clan, and now even if they want to betray, they don't know who to turn to, and Kaido looks down on them at all. Although Quang Shiru could stop Jack, he didn't want to take action because the black carbon Orochi had smeared Odin. However, Kaido knows that Kirishiro has the highest combat power. Pegamin and Sasaki have already surrounded Kirishiro in 2-1, and several real fighters are facing off against the Imperial fans. The barbarian tyrant shook the ground with a roar and rushed into the samurai team on the black carbon Orochi's side to slaughter them. The war situation is one-sided. The black carbon Orochi's side was ruthlessly crushed by Kaido's side. The people in Wano who were watching the live broadcast were all confused. What was the black charcoal snake trying to do being massacred by Kaido so ruthlessly? Now they believe that the black charcoal snake has sincerely repented. If it was just a show, the price would be too high. The underground resistance forces in Wano country are very much beating their chests. It was simply a sacrifice in vain. If you, Black Carbon Orochi, really want to resist Kaido, please contact us. After all, you are the general of the country of Wano. If we cooperate inside and outside, we may have a chance of success. But what is the point of your sacrifice in vain? Even if he kills you, Kaido can still support others. Confused. Black Carbon Orochi's always calm behavior angered Jack. How can it be unreasonable, you weak and flattering black charcoal snake? When you see me, Uncle Jack, you don't count out to apologize, but you look like you have a chance to win. Why do you really think that if you have a few more lives, you will be invincible? He immediately rushed towards the black charcoal snake. The black charcoal snake did not dodge and used the flexibility of the snake to wrap Jack around and fight together. However, the black charcoal snake has no strength at all. One of its heads was wrapped around Jack's elephant trunk. With a slight tear, the body was torn off. Then Jack did the same thing and pulled out the 7 heads of the black charcoal snake. Finally, like he used his nose hard and smashed the last head of the black charcoal snake into pieces. The black charcoal snake fell to the ground with a crash, turned back into human form, and declared dead. The people who watched the live broadcast were very moved, and they were not afraid of the fearlessness of Black Carbon Orochi in fighting, and he was not afraid of the reputation of a warrior. Although he had been absurd for many years, it seemed that he really wanted to repent before he died. Shigetsuki Ieyasu sighed, "Stupid, if you really sincerely repent, why don't you contact me? Wait another year, wait for the Kazuki clan's backup. There is no point in sacrificing in vain." At this time, the black carbon Orochi resurrected for the second time and once again transformed into the Yamada Orochi and rushed towards Jack's mammoth. The actions of the black charcoal snake greatly affected the samurai who originally wanted to escape. Even the Imperial fans improved their morale and regained their former enthusiasm. It is true that they are not real opponents, but if one is not, then 2 are better. Anyway, we are exchanging lives for lives. General Black Carbon Orochi is not afraid, so what are we afraid of after being criticized for so many years? They are not traitors. Since Lord Black Carbon Orochi wants to die, they will just follow. In an instant, the morale of the Black Carbon Orochi side was greatly boosted, but it suppressed Kaido's side somewhat. Jack immediately became angry and turned into a human animal form. Black Carbon Orochi, let me see how many times you can survive. Using more brutal methods, he tore the black charcoal snake into pieces. But soon, the black charcoal snake resurrected again and rushed towards Jack fearlessly. The black charcoal snake was really going crazy. Although Luo Sha controlled him with a kaleidoscope, it did not block his consciousness. He clearly knew that he was looking for death, but he had no way at all and could not control his body. Stop it, this is my last life. He didn't want to die like this, his life had just begun. But Luo Sha didn't listen at all. People watching the live broadcast saw that the black charcoal snake was so fearless that some extinguished flames began to gradually burn. Even the black carbon Orochi can fight for Wano. Why can't with samurai who forced people to watch the live broadcast in various villages and towns was originally a black charcoal snake, and he couldn't help but get excited watching the live broadcast. We don't want to be oppressed anymore and hit Kaido. In the quarry, due to the real attack being gathered to defeat the black carbon Orochi, the defense was empty. The opportunity in front of me is far more reliable than the illusory one when the 9 heroes of the Red Sky arrive a year later. I don't know who was the first to resist and kill Kaido's men. We have to fight and defeat Kaido. Then there is Kaido's arsenal. Everywhere in Wano, a single spark can really start a prairie fire. After hearing the news, Kaido couldn't sit still anymore and transformed into a dragon. I want to see who dares to resist me. It looks like I'm going to go on a killing spree. Jhin and Quinn, you both go and massacre wherever there's trouble. The country of Wano was in chaos and completely erupted. The live broadcast continued, and with the unwillingness of the black charcoal snake, it fell at Jack's feet for the last time. This time, the black charcoal snake was not resurrected. There were dark clouds in the sky, and it started to rain, as if the sky was crying. It's what everyone did with water escape, and they have to do a good job in acting. Jack spat on the black charcoal snake. You only have 3 lives. Who gave you the courage? The next moment, the wind and clouds gathered together, and a whirlwind appeared on the black charcoal snake. A white snake appeared, and then got bigger and bigger. The head of the giant white snake gradually split into 8, roared upwards, and sprayed out water, thunder, lightning, and fire. Then the sky cleared, and the sun shone on the white Yamato no Orochi like a god. Everyone watching the live broadcast couldn't help but think of what Kyoto and Orochi said at the beginning. Yamato no Orochi will come to save the country of Wano, right on top of my body. Actually, is it true? End of this chapter. Chapter 261 Kaido arrives on the battlefield. Chapter 261 Kaido arrives on the battlefield. Orochimaru used the Yamato no Jutsu to transform into the real Yamato no Orochi. The huge white snake had hard scales, shone with cold light in the sun, and had the aura of a strong man at the peak of the shadow level. The huge snake head brings incomparable pressure to people. The fake Yamato no Orochi with a human face like Kyoto no Orochi is not even worthy of carrying shoes, not to mention that this is not the incarnation of Kyoto no Orochi, because at this time the body of the black charcoal snake was lying on the ground. The Yamato no Orochi roared and broke through the sunlight. Jack, a reckless man who dares to fight against generals, Garp and Sengoku, is naturally fearless. Although he can feel that Orochimaru's incarnation of Yamato no Orochi is powerful, he is still not afraid. His big hand grabbed one of Orochimaru's snake heads and tried to tear it off like before. However, the dense snake scales stood up, not only pricking Jack's palm, but Jack also found that he could not pull it away at all, and was then thrown far away by the snake's head. Orochimaru spoke. I am Yamato no Orochi, the ancient patron saint of Wano. I have sensed the call of the people of Wano. Now, the black charcoal snake has sacrificed its body to summon me. I will protect the people of Wano from being invaded. The scene of Orochimaru transforming into Yamato no Orochi was seen by the people of Wano through a live broadcast, and everyone who was resisting was dumbfounded. The guardian myth of folklore actually became true? Did Kyoto and Orochi really get instructions from Yamato Orochi to save Wano when the legend became a reality? Everyone subconsciously couldn't believe it. but this kind of power was indeed not something that the fake Yamato no Orochi like the Black Carp and Orochi could fake. The barbarian tyrant's 2 ghosts, 3 ghosts, and 5 ghosts have already eliminated the samurai. As the failed products of Vegapunk's resurrection, they are the ancient giants who are stronger than the giants. Facing the siege of the samurai, they are simply cutting melons and vegetables. General, seeing Orochimaru's transformation into Yamato no Orochi, he immediately came to support Jack. At this time, Orochimaru had finished charging up, and the 3 snakes spit out high-pressure water guns, flames and thunder and lightning from their mouths again. Then the 2nd ghost had his neck cut off by the high-pressure water gun, the 3rd ghost was burned to coke by the flames, and the 5th ghost was directly pierced by lightning. You must know that the defense of the barbarian tyrant is not weaker than that of the giants. Even ordinary natural ability users cannot kill them instantly, but they are easily killed by the Yamato no Orochi transformed by Orochimaru. With the fall of the 3 barbarian tyrants, the people of Wano truly believed that Yamato no Orochi came to save them, and they all shouted, "Yamato no Orochi is the real Yamato no Orochi, the patron saint of Wano." The Black Carbon Orochi summoned the patron saint Yamato Orochi at the cost of his life. "If we can win, we can win. This time we will definitely be able to liberate Wano." The people of Wano country shouted, "You can defeat the barbarian tyrant with just one move. If you are not the real Yamato no Orochi, how could he be so powerful?" Being recognized by the people of Wano, Orochimaru suddenly felt relieved in his heart. For some reason, he felt recognized by the world. The originally suppressed strength can be released more unscrupulously. Another snakehead spit out strong wind, and the wind blade cut the real fighters who had just killed the Imperial Guards in half. Then the other snakehead launched the Earth Escape ninjutsu and swallowed up the minions of the Kaido pirates. Huang Shilang's mind was buzzing, looking at the body of the black charcoal snake, and looking at the Yamato no Orochi transformed by Orochimaru. He has been fighting with Peggy Man and Sasaki. As the strongest warrior among Kazuki's retainers, he wants to be stronger than Peggy Man and Sasaki. He also knows the strength of Black Carbon Orochi. As Kazuki Oden's subordinate, it is impossible for him to seek death with the Black Carbon Orochi and wait until the Black Carbon Orochi is killed by Jack before surrendering. I believe Kaido will take him in. What he has to do is wait for Kaiman and the others to come back and liberate Wano country. As a result, I didn't expect that after the death of Kyoto no Orochi, a Yamato no Orochi actually emerged, and it was so consistent with the image in the myths and legends of Wano country. The barbarian tyrants and the true fighters were all eliminated by the wind, fire, thunder and lightning that he spit out. Even he was beginning to doubt at this moment. Could it be that the Black Carbon Orochi really initiated this uprising after contacting the patron saint Yamato Orochi? The same goes for Peggy Wan and Sasaki. They did not fight seriously with Kwangshiru. For so many years, they all knew that Kwangshiru was superb in swordsmanship, but they had no position. Lord Kaido is a talent-loving person, and he may still be an accomplice afterward. If they really fight to the death, even if they can kill Kwangshiling, one of them will probably die. Unexpectedly, after the real fight between the real fighters and the Yuding fans were wiped out, and most of the real fighters were killed or injured. The royal court fans were the direct bodyguards of Black Carbon Orochi, so they had no choice. Since Kwangshiling was water skiing, the 2 of them were happy to cooperate. However, with the appearance of Yamato no Orochi, the 2 of them could no longer do this. Angry Jack watched his men die tragically, transformed into a mammoth, and rushed towards Orochimaru's Yamato no Orochi, but Orochimaru immediately sealed his legs with earth release, and then hit Jack with a combo of wind, fire, electricity, and water. Although he couldn't achieve the instant kill like the barbarian tyrant. However, even Jack's strong body and armor-colored protection were ripped open by the beating, and there was a burnt smell everywhere on his body. He was bleeding profusely from being cut by the wind blade and water gun, and the wounds were deep enough to show the bones. As the patron saint of Wano, Yamada no Orochi is completely recognized by Wano, and also allows Orochimaru to be recognized by the world. In the form of Yamada no Orochi, the ninjutsu spitted out have true B-level to A-level effects. Just as Luo Sha guessed, once recognized by the world and the power of ninjutsu returns to normal levels, masters like Jhin and Jack, who are equal to the peak of the shadow level, are no match for these people in the ninja world. Seeing that Jack could not defeat Yamada no Orochi, Peggy Wan and Sasaki said to Quenshiro, "Whether you fight or not, we will fight desperately if you don't." Seeing Jack's appearance, Quang Shilang took the initiative to step aside and motioned for the two of them to do as they pleased. The two immediately gave up on Qi Shulang and supported Jack. One transformed into a Spinosaurus, and the other transformed into a Triceratops, and rushed towards the Yamada no Orochi. At this time, Orochimaru's two idle snakeheads rushed towards Peggy Wan, and the Yin escape illusion technique was activated. Peggy Wan immediately fell into a terrifying illusion. He and his sister were swallowed by the Yamada no Orochi, and the land was filled with beasts. The corpses of the pirates. Another snakehead used the Yang escape secret technique, and the snake letter protruding from the mouth became huge, entangled Sasaki, and was completely unable to escape. A big sign, 2 flying 5 cells, not to mention the 3 barbarian tyrants who have been eliminated, and more than a dozen real fights. The people of Wano country have no doubt that the guardian god Yamada no Orochi has come to the world, and no one can have it. Such power defeated the high-end combat power of the beast pirates. Everyone in the Wano country worships Orochimaru as a god, and there is no doubt that Orochimaru is the patron saint of Yamada no Orochi. In an instant, Orochimaru felt that the last barrier disappeared, and he was completely recognized by the world, and even received the world's blessing. Just when Orochimaru wanted to completely eliminate Jack, the sky was covered with dark clouds, lightning flashed and thunder, and Kaido's huge dragon head poked out of the clouds. Seeing Jack being beaten to the point of dying, his men who suffered heavy casualties opened their mouths in rage. "Asshole, even if you are a god, you will die for me." Rebreath. End of this chapter. Chapter 262 The Envoy Stronger Than God. Chapter 262 The Envoy Stronger Than God. Seeing the hot breath exhaled by Kaido, Orochimaru also felt the desire to fight. Above film level. In fact, Orochimaru's current form, if blessed by natural power in the ninja world, would not be inferior to the cage level. But it's still a little worse on Pirate Planet. But it's not much different, especially after it is recognized by the people of Wano. Because it is conquering Kaido, it also has the blessing of the world. Letting go of Jack, Peggy Wan, and Sasaki, Orochimaru concentrated on dealing with Kaido. It's not just Heikura, Kimimaro, and Zilluo who want to break through. Orochimaru doesn't want to, but now is the opportunity that comes to his door. The few people hiding in the dark shouted sinisterly. Orochimaru doesn't have martial ethics. It's obviously time to push these people out as divine envoys. The snakehead responsible for fire escape accumulated strength and also sent out a breath of flame heat. The two hot news collided and were evenly matched for a while. However, in the eyes of a strong person, it can still be seen that Orochimaru's heat breath is not as good as Kaido's, and he is gradually pushed back. But the people in Wano who watched the live broadcast didn't know. Kaido's heat breath has been raging in Wano country for many years. It once evaporated a mountain, which represented invincibility, but now it was blocked by the heat breath of Yamada no Orochi. Can't be wrong! It's a guardian angel who came to this world, not a false product of a devil fruit. Kaido also became serious. Although he couldn't figure out the origin of Orochimaru, he was confident of defeating him even if he was the real patron saint of Wano. He is the legendary holy beast Kinglung. The two heat breaths collided. Although he had a slight advantage, it was not the kind of crushing one boom. Flames explode. Thunder. A bolt of lightning spit out from Kaido's mouth and shot through the smoke towards Orochimaru. The snakehead corresponding to Orochimaru immediately fired back with lightning, repeated the ending of the hot breath again, and exploded. Bad wind. Kaido attacks again. But this time Orochimaru didn't plan to fight. The 5 snakeheads opened their mouths wide, and the power of fire, thunder, water, earth, and wind poured out, using the 5 escapes and large continuous bullets technique. Kaido's bad wind was submerged. A single power is not as good as Kaido, but the 5 powers fired together immediately overwhelmed Kaido's bad wind and hit Kaido with a series of 5 escape bullets. Although it did not cause fatal damage, it still hurt Kaido. Kaido turned into a human form and fell to the ground, raising a huge cloud of dust and smoke. It was a really good attack power, causing me to be hurt for the first time in a long time. Kaido walked out of the dust and smoke, the iron rod sliding on the ground making a harsh sound, and looked at Orochimaru with excitement. Such a Yamada no Orochi is worth killing by yourself. Kaido has noticed Orochimaru's strength. He is stronger than Jhin and others, but still worse than himself, but he is still at the level of a general candidate. It seems that he can fight happily today. The live broadcast crowd was already excited. For the first time, Kaido's dragon form was defeated. Yamada no Orochi is indeed here to save them. Orochimaru didn't want to fight, and he could feel it. Kaido was the kind of rough-skinned and thick-bodied guy. If they really fought, they wouldn't be able to tell the winner in a short time. And he is probably no match for Kaido. If you are really beaten to the point of embarrassment, the miracles you have created will be in vain. Kaido, you are causing trouble to the kingdom of Japan. This guardian god should destroy you. Where is the envoy? Let me attack Kaido and save the kingdom of Japan. The people hiding in the darkness appeared one by one, each wearing a snake-headed mask. In order to act in the future, others except Magi should not be exposed too early. All they need is Wano country to recognize their identities. The appearance of several people confused Kaido. This powerful oppressive force made Kaido feel afraid, and many of them were perceived to be stronger than Yamada no Orochi. Is this an angel? A messenger stronger than Gidrasa waved her hand, and the others went to support other places, leaving Rasa to deal with Kaido. It's not that they don't want to. Hagura, Kimamaro, and Murasaki, who are on the same level as Kaido, are not as recognized as Orochimaru now, and their strength is about the same as that of Orochimaru after being recognized, and Gaara must transform into the 6 paths level to suppress him. Kaido. Since everyone plans to create a god, they naturally need a clean, beautiful, and quick victory. Only Master Luo Sha can do it. Kaido didn't care so much, he just started Thunder Bagua, and the huge body came in front of Luo Sha instantly. The overlord color was wrapped around the mace, and black lightning burst out. The result was a golden ball blocking the front end of the mace. No matter how hard Kaido used his full strength, he couldn't move forward at all. Naturally, the 6 path level jade cannot be shaken by Kaido. Luo Sha moved her fingers forward slightly, and Q Daoyu immediately pressed Kaido's mace back. Impossible! Kaido yelled crazily in his heart. It was absolutely impossible. Even Garp cannot accept his thunderous gossip so easily. Such a powerful force cannot exist in the world. You must know that Kaido's thunderous gossip is penetrating, and it is also entangled with a domineering aura. The opponent just counterattacked in the most ordinary way, not even covering the armed color. Kaido couldn't accept it. Even if he lost to the armed color, he had activated the overlord color. Overlord color Haki. If a person is not determined, it will be affected by just fighting. What is that golden ball, and why can't it be destroyed by overlord color Haki? Luo Sha smiled. 6th level Dao-seeking Jade, you are a person who has not cultivated to the pinnacle of overlord lust, yet you still want to destroy it. Being able to block it is already a very strong performance. Luo Sha used her strength again, and the Q Daoyu suddenly grew in size, knocking Kaido away. Not only was the scene of the battle with Kaido quiet, but the entire Wano country was also quiet. You must know that the live broadcast has not stopped. So what did everyone see? Invincible Kaido was knocked away with one move. That's Kaido, who is known as the strongest monster in history. It was actually suppressed in terms of strength. After 3 seconds of silence, the entire Wano country was boiling. If you can win, you will definitely win this time! The invincible Kaido has been suppressed by the envoy summoned by Yamada no Orochi, so this is an opportunity for Wano country, and it will definitely win. Kaido's defeat caused many Wano forces who had been waiting and watching to come forward. Even the elderly, women, and children picked up sticks and brooms as weapons to join the army to resist Kaido. However, the morale of the beast pirates was greatly reduced. Many battlefields where they had the upper hand suddenly changed and were suppressed by the resistance forces of Wano country. People chanted the names of Yamada no Orochi and the Divine Messenger. Orochimaru has naturally been completely recognized by the world, and now even others are more accepted by the world. Everyone can feel the world's rejection diminishing. Even if his true appearance is revealed, he should be more accepted by the world. At this time, Kaido's coalition forces arrived at various Kaido arsenals, quarries, and other places. However, before they could show off their power, they saw Kaido being beaten away. Even if he was not defeated, they were extremely shocked. When they calmed down and tried to stabilize the situation, everyone in Sand Hidden Village has also rushed to various places. With their sensory ninjutsu, they easily locked onto the location of Kaido's senior quarters. End of this chapter. Chapter 263 What if I choose to surrender? Chapter 263 What if I choose to surrender? Don't think that you will defeat me just like this. Reign to the third life and lead Naruto. In the ruins, Kaido rushed out again. The huge overlord colored winding caused the color of the world to change. Black lightning and white thunder struck. However, before these attacks could get close, Luo Sha directly launched a repulsive blow. Whether it is overlord colored lightning or thunder and lightning, they are all eliminated invisible. Kaido himself was ejected again. This time Kaido had tried his best to block it, with Yamko-level weapons all over his body, but he was still bounced away by the invisible force. After a lifetime of fighting, Kaido has been defeated countless times, but he has never been so powerless. He became the strongest warrior in the kingdom since he was a child and was then sold to the world government. After escaping, he defeated the government's pursuers countless times. Join a monster pirate group like the Rocks Pirates. From then on, they fought against the absolute strongest in the sea, Whitebeard, Lingling, Garp, and Roger. But even Captain Rocks cannot defeat himself with such a playful attitude. Kaido knew that the person he was fighting against didn't even use his true strength, which was an insult to a warrior like him. He doesn't even have the qualifications to force the opponent to use all his strength, yet he calls himself the strongest creature! Kaido couldn't help but get excited. He took off the gourd containing strong liquor from his waist and drank it all in one gulp. His whole body instantly entered a state of drunken madness. After being drunk, Kaido's human animal form became even more powerful. His overlord color tilted out uninhibited, and wherever the black lightning fell, it would be destroyed. Then Kaido was surprised to find that even if he deliberately controlled it, the overlord colored lightning would deliberately avoid the opponent. Even when he attacked Yamada no Orochi with the overlord colored lightning, the overlord colored lightning did not hesitate, but the lightning that attacked the opponent was too afraid to fall. Deliberately miss the target like a conscious mind. Overlord color and domineering energy are born with awakening and cannot be cultivated and grown. It is the embodiment of the qualifications of a king. But now he doesn't dare to attack, which only means that the opponent is no longer on the same level as himself and has reached the point where Overlord Sedu surrenders. There is such a thing in the world. This is my Yonko Kaido's domineering spirit, and he is actually timid without fighting! David Thunder gossips. The upgraded version of Thunder Bagua was used again in a drunken state. After all, the overlord-colored domineering power belongs to Kaido. Under conscious control, it explodes with all its strength. Purple thunder, dark overlord-colored lightning. Anyone watching the live broadcast can feel Kaido's roar and the power that destroys the world. A huge mushroom cloud rises. However, the dust and smoke dissipated, and Kaido's enhanced version of Thunderboggle was no different from before. It was still blocked by a golden ball. Even though Kaido's strength increased several times while drunk, he still couldn't advance his mace 1 centimeter further. Drunken thunder, Yin Nao Yuo. Kaido continued to attack, inciting thunder and lightning unscrupulously in his drunken state. Then he saw Luo Sha shaking his head slightly and grabbing a powerful lightning bolt in his hand that looked like a silver python and was thicker than the Yamada no Orochi. You said you and I have the same electromagnetic force, so why are you playing with electricity? The violent lightning turned into a docile pet in Luo Sha's hands, and was then turned by Luo Sha and hit Kaido. The next second, the docile lightning in Luo Sha's hands suddenly became violent. It was originally summoned by Kaido, but now it fell on Kaido like a devourer. Kaido's strong body naturally did not cause fatal damage, but the continuous accumulation still put Kaido into a state of serious injury. How great, this kind of strong man who plays with himself in the midst of applause. Transform into a dragon again. Since thunder and lightning are ineffective, let's use fire. Fire dragon torch. He created a fire dragon coat to wrap his dragon body, and the scorching temperature melted many rocks. However, Kaido did not attack directly, but upgraded the fire dragon torch. Shanglong, flame gossip. First it flew high into the sky, and then dived quickly, with the overlord-colored haki wrapped around its head, and crashed down towards where Luo Sha was. A loud explosion was heard, and a bottomless pit was opened on the ground. Kaido looked at the attack he had caused and stared at the bottom of the pit. He did not believe that such a strong man would be killed by him in one blow. As a result, Luo Sha could not be seen coming out of the pit for a long time. Is it resolved? Said that he just had expectations. Are you looking for me? Luo Sha's voice came from above. Kaido used his sensory perception in disbelief, and indeed saw Rasha standing above his head. I am still wrapped in a coat of flames, so why is there no impact at all? This is a flame that can burn the earth into magma. Luo Sha was very satisfied. This giant flame dragon is in very handsome condition, and the feeling of riding the dragon is really comfortable, much more comfortable than flying by myself. As for the temperature, it was far worse than Yikang's burning escape. Sure enough, it would be better to accept Kaido as a psychic beast. But it is also troublesome. It is easy for someone like Kaido to force him to sign an agreement, but it is meaningless to be unable to control someone like Jhin. Although he can be forcibly controlled by other gods, his puppet-like subordinates really have no achievements. If it doesn't work, I can only let others eat the blue dragon fruit. I thought so when I looked at the Yamada no Orochi fruit suspended in the Kamui space. Since he knew that the devil fruit would be reborn nearby when the Esper died, there was no reason not to make preparations. He had already bought a lot of fruits nearby, and with the help of the power of 6 paths he successfully obtained the Yamada no Orochi fruit. If Kaido doesn't cooperate, such a handsome fruit will have no choice but to change its owner. Kaido was flying high in the sky, and his thoughts turned around. The person above him was too powerful, and the king of the world was nothing more than that. He is Kaido of the 100 Beasts, and no one in the world has such strength to crush him. Even if she makes a big fuss, Marioya will not be so embarrassed. Overlooking the country of Wano, Jack, Peggy Wan, and Sasaki wanted to support them, but they couldn't protect themselves from Orochimaru's attack. The moment Jhin saw Magi, he remembered what happened yesterday, but then he was beaten violently by Magi and Zai Luo. Quinn in the quarry was so burned by Yikang that he could eat dinosaur meat. Fuzifu was pointed at Kimamaro with a bone gun, and he would be furious if he took any further step. Shiro froze Black Maria into big ice cubes. The fragrant phosphorus locks Rundy into rice dumplings. Gaara directly manipulated the sand on the coastline to bury ordinary pirates of the beast pirates. As for the barbarian tyrant, Jenda, and the pairs who were approached by a few people, there was no way to count them. Throughout Wano, the beast pirates have been completely defeated. You are definitely not an envoy of God. Who are you? How could such a strong man be the envoy of Yamada no Orochi? The other way around is almost the same. Yamada no Orochi is your pet. It doesn't matter who I am, now it's your time to choose. The Seeking Jade is divided into 9 parts and transforms into a spear, which can penetrate Kaido's body at any time. Kaido knew that as long as he refused, his wish to die for many years would be fulfilled. But at this moment, Kaido didn't want to die. What if my choice is to surrender to you? End of this chapter. Chapter 264 The Country of Wano is liberated. Chapter 264 The Country of Wano is liberated. It's a pity. What did you say? Luo Sha was stunned for a moment. Kaido seemed to have chosen to surrender. Did you hear it wrong? After dispersing the flames on his body, Kaido's drunkenness evaporated. I said I choose to surrender. There was no embarrassment at all, and he gave up his dignity as the Yonko the moment he chose to surrender. The dignity of the Emperor also depends on who is right. Even if the celestial dragons dare to surrender, Kaido dares to make trouble with Marijoa. It is said that there is a power more powerful than the Navy deep in the celestial dragons, but Kaido doesn't care. If the Navy master dared to surrender, he would stick a mace in his face the next moment. Not to mention that he is already at the top of the pirate force. But the appearance of Luo Sha made him surrender willingly. There were actually 9 of those golden balls that he could not defeat, and he had no doubt whether the spear that transformed into a golden ball could kill him. The body that can break through defenses only when wrapped with the domineering aura of the top-raid armed color or the overlord color is not much worse than ordinary skin and flesh under the golden balls, let alone 9. As long as one penetrates from the beginning to the tail, he will be able to drink his blood on the spot. Such a strong man has no shame in surrendering. In the past, the reason for seeking death was because they could not see the path beyond the 4 emperors. Even other strong men at the same level as themselves, such as Garp, Whitebeard and others, only wanted to die because of the direction of cultivation and the fruits they ate were different. Just weak. No one can absolutely crush anyone. Today this person finally showed up. Following such a strong person may also allow you to take a step further. Aren't you going to struggle? Kaido's surrender can't be controlled by Rasa. I've already thought about going back to Ninja and finding a subordinate to come and eat the fruit. You choose to surrender. From reading the plot, I didn't think Kaido was greedy for life and afraid of death. It's just that the fanatical look in Kaido's eyes always makes Luo Sha feel like he is familiar with all of his cronies. Is this his charm? It's always so unchallenging for me. Kaido thought that Luo Sha looked down on him, but that was true. The Yamada no Orochi was only slightly weaker than him, and among the other divine messengers, 1 was stronger than him, and 3 were about the same as him. When did he, a powerful man like the Emperor of the Sea, appear in so many numbers? Even the Rock's pirates were not that powerful back then. After all, they had not yet grown to the strength of the Yonko today. Although I lost to you, I'm actually very strong. Of course, you have many strong men under your command. Seeing that you are planning for the country of peace, I must need my minions to help you. I also have the beast pirates under my command, which should be enough. Your terms. Kaido worked hard to promote himself, fearing that Luo Sha would not agree. Apart from lamenting that her charm was too great, what else could Luo Sha say? Just as he was about to answer, Kaido saw that Luo Sha was still hesitant and gritted his teeth and said, "How about I serve as a mount for you? Riding a dragon would be so cool. Don't look at me flying high. I can mobilize the power of the wind, I guarantee it. I can't blow you away, and I fly steadily and fast, so I will never lose your reputation. I have only one request. I want to see the world above the 4 emperors. It's strange that Luo Sha didn't agree. He understood what Kaido said about the world above the 4 emperors. It was nothing serious. Congratulations, Kaido, you made the right choice. Before he could say anything, Kaido offered him a ride, and he had no reason to refuse. So Kaido carried Rasa back to the ground and came to the live broadcast. He knelt on one knee in front of Rasa and said to the camera, "Everyone, give up resistance. I have surrendered to the Lord God. From now on, the beast pirates will I will belong to the command of the god Envoy. The beast's pirates have long been at a disadvantage. The cotters in various places have been controlled and are only resisting sporadically. Now that Kaido is kneeling on the live broadcast, the beast's pirates have completely chosen to surrender. The pirates were originally a ragtag group, but now that the captains have surrendered, there is no point in persisting." The residents of Wano couldn't believe their eyes and ears. What did we just hear? Kaido surrender? In fact, it's almost the same as not surrendering. He has been suppressed and beaten by the gods all the time, but when he heard with his own ears that Kaido, who had oppressed Wano for more than 20 years, surrendered, everyone still couldn't believe it. Then his body couldn't help but tremble. Kaido surrenders! We are truly liberated! It's all because of Yamada no Orochi. Everyone knelt down and kowtowed to Orochimaru in front of the live broadcast. The guardian deity Yamada no Orochi saved the country of Wano. Even Shigesuke Ieyasu and Kazuki Sukiyaki were convinced at this moment. Then the residents of Wano country spontaneously marched to the flower capital. Even those whose lives were hanging by a thread, they all marched to the flower capital one after another. They wanted to thank Yamada no Orochi in person. The only dissatisfied people in the crowd were Quang Shilling and other Guangyu retainers. What is this? Before the 9 heroes of Red Sky gathered together, Kaido surrendered to Yamada no Orochi, who appeared inexplicably. So what is our 20 years of waiting? What are the sacrifices of Odin-sama and Toki-sama? Xiao Zai looked at the live broadcast in a daze. She had been an courtesan for so many years, accumulated money and sacrificed everything. Wouldn't it become a joke? The Kapakawa Song, who escaped from the quarry, was at a loss. Ashira Doji frowned, and it seemed that there was no hope for Mitsuki. Who will care about the so-called legend of the Kazuki clan now? Wano country has been saved. No, if it weren't for your greed for life and fear of death back then, Kazuki Odin, Wano country might have been rescued even earlier. Why wait until the Black Carbon Orochi sacrificed his life to summon Yamada Orochi, just as Luo Sha expected? The appearance of Yamada no Orochi also hit Kaido and saved the country of Wano. The biggest villain, Kyuten Orochi, was mostly forgiven by the people of Wano due to his righteous actions before his death, and was cleared of his crimes. One by one, the old accounts of Kazuki Odin were brought up. The Black Charcoal Orochi was willing to die to prove his will. In addition to being selfish, you Kazuki Odin did mischief when you were young and ran away to sea when you were older. Where can you make some contribution to the country of Wano? There is no need now, and there will be no need for your legacy to appear in the future. In the current Wano country, except for Lord Yamada no Orochi, no one is easy to use. A flower city simply cannot hold all the people of Wano. Orochimaru came to the open space outside the city and used Earth Escape to create a high platform. Under the gaze of the people, he returned to Orochimaru's form. People of Wano country, I am your patron saint Yamada no Orochi. I will protect you until the end of the chaotic era of great pirates. In order to make up for the crimes committed in Wano country, Kaido and the beast pirates, from now on, I will protect the outer sea of the country of Wano, and from now on, my divine messenger Marky will be responsible for conveying your demands for me. Ma Jai cursed and took off his mask. I am the divine Envoy Maki. From now on, I will be responsible for helping Yamada no Orochi to regulate Wano country. Do you have any opinions? Hooray, hooray. Mr. Yamada no Orochi will always protect us. Originally, people thought that Lord Yamada no Orochi would disappear after pacifying Kaido, but unexpectedly he stayed to continue to protect Wano country. Immediately cheered excitedly. They were still worried that without Yamada no Orochi, Kaido would betray him. But now it's better. With Yamada no Orochi, Wano no longer has any worries. At this time, Rasa and Kaido arrived at the old underground site of Wano country, where the 4 historical texts were located above the Pluto Battleship. End of this chapter. Chapter 265, Pluto Battleship. The world of pirates is not simple. Chapter 265, Pluto Battleship. The world of pirates is not simple. The underground shrine contains the historical text of Wano, which was discovered by Jack from the Fishmen tribe and told to Kaido. With Kaido leading the way, there was no need for Kazuki Sukiyaki. The huge, cold cube stone was carved with ancient characters and exuded a cold atmosphere, as if awe-inspiring and inviolable. Luo Sha smiled disdainfully, trying to be mysterious. This is one of 4 landmark historical texts recording one of the locations of Luftru. However, as long as you know the approximate location of Ravru, with Luo Sha's perception ability, you can find it in less than a month. The uncertainties of the ocean, fog, tsunamis, and the like are of no significance to Luo Sha. However, according to Otsutsuki Hagoromo's information, the place where he was seriously injured was Ravru, so Rasa did not plan to act rashly until the truth of the world was known. The benefits of being recognized by Wano country have begun to appear, so it is better to implement it according to the original plan. Although Kaido was defeated, Kaido is not the strongest fighting force in the world. That is the final enemy equivalent to Senju Hashirama and Uchiha Madara in the ninja world, equivalent to the Sage of 6 Paths has not yet appeared. Being too high profile will only make the same mistake as Hagoromo Otsutsuki did. Lord Luo Sha, this is one of the 4 landmark historical texts that records the location of Ravru. However, with your strength, you don't need the Pirate King to prove yourself. Kaido already knew Rasa's name. Although he was curious about Rasa's need to read the historical text, even Roger was no match for Rasa. What's the point of having a false reputation like Pirate King? I's current strength is not much weaker than that of the former Captain Rox, and together with Lord Rasa's men, there are 2 existences that surpass the Yonko, for Yonko. It is not difficult to overthrow the world government and become the king of the world. One Piece. Hee hee. Luo Sha gently patted the historical text. I don't deserve to be the king of the ninja world, so I went to One Piece planet to be the pirate king. But in the pirate world, there are more troubles in the ninja world. I have so many serious illnesses that I can't think of. However, these historical texts are closely related to the protagonist of the world. According to the experience of the ninja world, as long as you destroy items closely related to the protagonist, you can gain access to the world. Lord Luo Sha, give up. These broken stones are indestructible. I have tried to destroy them before, but they couldn't be destroyed at all. At most, some pieces fell off. Kaido saw that Luo Sha was deliberately destroying the historical text and warned him. In fact, not only Luo Sha, but also powerful people like them have tried to do this, but no one has succeeded yet. Can't be destroyed? Since it can be created, it can be destroyed, like this. The power of the 6 paths exploded, and Placer Gold seeking the way Jade entered the historical text. Then there was only a clicking sound, and the so-called indestructible historical text was broken into small stones on the ground. Kaido stepped forward in disbelief and picked up a piece. This is the historical text, right? Even Whitebeard's shock fruit couldn't be destroyed, but it was easily destroyed by the golden ball. Looking back on being surrounded by 9 of them, I can only be glad that I made the right choice. Even though it is called a monster, there is still a big gap between its sturdiness and the historical text. Kaido surrendered even more sincerely. At the moment when the historical text was destroyed, Luo Sha felt an infusion of world power for the first time in a long time, and he gained a glimmer of authority in the pirate world. It was exactly as I guessed. This kind of item that cannot be destroyed and only has an effect on the protagonist is actually a restriction on the world itself. Just like the world of Naruto, if it weren't for his own appearance, he could only passively wait for Naruto and Sasuke to be rescued. In fact, Tate doesn't agree with this. As a world consciousness, everyone is the protagonist of the world. Why wait for the protagonist to grow if it can be resolved early? Shu Da tried to persuade Liu Dao very early on to conquer the 3 holy places, liberate the 3 gods, and reconcile with Kaguya, but Liu Dao did not listen. Although it is safe for the protagonist to save the world, it is a limitation for the world itself, and ordinary people do not have the ability to break the protagonist's established destiny. Luo Sha shattered the historical text, which meant that Luffy could no longer obtain it, and a piece of the shackles of the world was broken. Of course, destiny has the power to correct it, and maybe Luffy will get it somewhere else, but the trajectory will eventually be changed, and Luo Sha will get this part of the world. Interesting, Luo Sha murmured and then said to Kaido, "You go up first, Kaido. I have something to think about." Kaido obeyed the order and left. He could tell that Luo Sha had something else going on, but since Luo Sha didn't tell him, he shouldn't pry. When Kaido left, Luo Sha used the power of assimilation to go straight to the ground. After descending more than 100 meters, we came to a huge underground cavern. A huge battleship was parked here. It was obvious from the equipment that it was extremely advanced, like an interstellar battleship in the future world. The huge level is comparable to the size of the entire Wano country, or it should be said that the Wano country is built on Pluto. Although it had been silent for who knows how many hundreds of years, the battleship still looked brand new, as if someone had maintained it regularly. A boy who looked like a shot appeared above the Pluto battleship. As his finger pointed at Luo Sha, all the muzzles of the guns pointed at Luo Sha and entered the firing state. Luo Sha sensed that it was not a human being. The little boy also frowned at Luo Sha. "Warning, warning, planet invader, attack or not. Withdraw, withdraw, planet savior, cannot attack. Warning, warning, planet invader, attack or not. Withdraw, withdraw, planet savior, cannot attack." 2 voices sounded alternately. The little boy was in trouble and simply came to Luo Sha. "Who are you? Why do I sense both the intruder and the savior in you?" Luo Sha saw through the little boy's origin at a glance. "You are Pluto's ship spirit?" The little boy admitted, "I am Pluto's ship spirit. Please answer whether you are an intruder or a savior. Otherwise, I cannot determine whether to attack you." "Of course I am the savior. But why do you still react like an intruder?" The little boy was obviously not that easy to deceive. "Of course it's because I just killed the intruder, otherwise how could I find you?" Luo Sha can easily deceive children. The little boy seemed to accept Luo Sha's explanation, and the gun ports on the Pluto battleship went into flameout. "Savior, after my scan, it is not yet the day of liberation of the world, and the savior in you has too few permissions to activate Hades, so please come back," the ship elf said very apologetically. Luo Sha didn't come to fight Pluto originally. She just knew that Pluto was underground in Wano country, so she came to take a look no matter what. You don't know, if you hadn't just shattered the historical text and gained a little bit of world authority, what would have greeted you now would have been Pluto's full cannon salvo. The important thing is that Luo Sha felt that several of Pluto's cannons could hurt the 6th path level. This means that Pluto has fought against the 6 paths level. The world of pirates is indeed not as simple as it seems. It's getting more and more interesting. End of this chapter. Chapter 266 Help Kaido Educate His Children. Chapter 266 Help Kaido Educate His Children. There was no more gain from the meeting with the boat elf. Although the boat elf would answer Luo Sha's questions, he was just a boat elf and did not have complete logical thinking. He only knows that Pluto is responsible for saving the world and will save the world on Liberation Day. The remaining data allowed him to distinguish whether it was an intruder or not, but he didn't know the rest. Then he started to protect Pluto on his own. No wonder it was still so new after hundreds of years. Although he didn't get any other answers, it was enough for Luo Sha. This world is not as simple as it appears. The power hidden in the dark is not weaker than the 6 paths. There is also Otsutsuki Shibaju who is lost here. Otsutsuki Hagoromo is not unjust in this world. Therefore, Luo Sha's plan needs to be implemented even more. It is imperative to penetrate this world, strive for more world authority, participate in the world recruitment, and become a naval admiral. The world government and the celestial dragons must hold more secrets. Now that the matter in Wano has been resolved, Orochimaru has become the patron saint of Wano, and Kaido's surrender has added an insurance policy. Rasa wasn't completely reassured about Kaido. To be on the safe side, he made an exclusive contract scroll specifically for the Beast Pirates. An upgraded version of the one from White Snake Immortal. Once signed, the life and death of the Beast Pirates will be controlled by Rasa, which is also the condition for the survival of the Beast Pirates. Fortunately, they could be contracted after eating animal-type fruits. Otherwise, except for Kaido and Jhin, there were not many others that Rasa could like, such as a certain Brachiosaurus. And even Kaido can't guarantee the integrity of his subordinates. Pirates are all rebellious people. When the contract was signed, Fazafu ran away directly, and then Luo Sha had a cat fruit in the form of a saber-toothed tiger in his hand. Kaido didn't express any objection and signed his name directly. With Kaido taking the lead and Fazafu's ending, everyone else followed suit. Then Orochimaru began to repair the country of Wano, shut down all Kaido's arsenals, used Earth Escape to sink the polluted land to the ground, turned up the good land, and used Water Escape to purify the water source. No one in Wano country dares to say anything bad about the guardian deity Yamada no Orochi. Even Shigesuke Ieyasu is convinced by Orochimaru. I originally thought that a monster like Yamada no Orochi would need to eat people when he was in charge of Wano. However, it turned out that Yamada no Orochi stayed in the newly built temple every day. Magi, the messenger who usually appears, is also very talkative. Responsible stewardship of Wano, coupled with the fact that the Black Carbon Orochi killed all the evil-hearted powerful people in Wano country before his death. The current Wano country has been increasingly recovering and showing signs of prosperity. He was also elected by the people to cooperate with Magi in governing the country of Wan. I thought that the divine envoy would be taboo about dividing the power, but in the end Magi was not dissatisfied at all. Just kidding, I have managed enough in Sunagakure village. This is not the ninja world. I don't have to work hard, as long as I ensure the stability of Wano country. Various actions confirmed that Yamada no Orochi and the Divine Envoy were really protecting the country of Wano. Except for Orochimaru's words, there is no second voice in the entire Wano country. Even the black charcoal snake that summoned Orochimaru was forgiven by people. The only ones who were depressed were Kazuki Oden's men. The country of Wano was liberated, but it had nothing to do with Kazuki Oden's arrangement. Instead, Kazuki Oden's reputation became even worse. Kyoten Orochi saved the reputation of the Kyoten family with his death, and Kazuki Oden became the only joke. The Kyuisharo family, who had always been attached to the Black Carbon Orochi, were expelled from the Flower City. They brought Zaiozai and the Kappa Kawamatsu together. The group sadly left the country of Wano and went to Sagao, waiting for the arrival of Momonosuke. Take a look. What to do in one step. However, it was not that no one complained about Kazuki Oden. For example, a woman who recognized a thief as her father rushed directly to the temple. Goten is not that kind of person. He is a brave sea warrior. Even Yamada no Orochi-sama cannot tarnish Goten. Kaido hurriedly hurried but still didn't stop his daughter. In the past, I was the boss and you could just talk about it, but now Wano country is the power of Lord Rasa, and you still feel uncomfortable coming here. For the first time, Kaido regrets his doting on his daughter. Luo Sha happened to be at the temple and was also very interested in the crooked Yamato. You admire Kazuki Oden? Kazuki Oden is an outstanding samurai, and I will become Kazuki Oden in the future. Okay, become a samurai like Kazuki Oden, bully the market, seize women, dig bones from people's graves and cook hot pot. One sentence choked Yamato to death. Are you talking about Kazuki Oden? That brave samurai would never do such a thing. You bullshit. Am I talking nonsense? Come here. Find some older people and tell Miss Yamato about the glorious deeds of the outstanding samurai Kazuki Oden when he was young. At Luo Sha's call, 2 elderly people came, asked about the situation, and immediately looked at Yamato with unkind eyes. Then he took Yamato to learn about Kazuki Oden's glorious deeds. Kaido, you protect your children so well. Kaido shook his head and sighed. Well, a diary. Who the serious person keeps a diary? I think Kazuki Oden's diary is nothing more than bragging about himself. It's strange that he can record his ridiculous things. And Kaido's power aroused Yamato's rebellious heart. So the more Kaido refused to do it, the more Yamato wanted to do it. In fact, originally it was just easy to let Yamato understand what kind of person Kazuki Oden was. Sure enough, after the 2 old men came back and got to know Kazuki Oden outside the diary, Yamato wilted like an eggplant beaten by frost. Are you still as good a samurai as Hiyori Kazuki? Yamato's worldview has somewhat collapsed. In recent years, his obsession with becoming Kazuki Oden is actually more about anger with his father and his admiration for the diary records. He is just a rebellious child. But after learning about the real Kazuki Oden, she was confused. Then he is also a brave sea warrior and arrived at Ravru with the Pirate King. Yamato's obsession with Kazuki Oden is all that remains. A brave sea warrior. Yamato, you are really well protected by your father. A brave sea warrior. Who is not? What achievements did Kazuki Oden have? He just happened to catch a ride on Roger's ship. Just a brave sea warrior. Have you ever known your father? The Yonko pirates, a former member of the Sea Overlord Rocks pirates, have caused many troubles with Malin Fando, Garp, and Sengoku. They can't be locked up in a big prison. They are equivalent to the strength of an admiral. They are the strongest in the world. Creature. In what way is he inferior to Kazuki Oden? You don't worship your own father, but you worship Kazuki Oden? Is he comparable to your father? Let's learn more about your father's glorious deeds. Being choked by Rasa's words and unable to reply, Yamato really went back to learn about his father's life, only to find that his father was far more powerful than Kazuki Oden. I have really lost my mind and worshipped Kazuki Oden for so many years. I finally got over my rebellious period and reconciled with my father. An excited Kaido came to thank Rasa. Luo Sha said it was all trivial. Anyway, I have nothing to do while waiting for Orochimaru's research results, so it would be nice to correct the lost girl. End of this chapter. Chapter 267, The Discovery of Orochimaru, The Truth About the Pirate World. Chapter 267, The Discovery of Orochimaru, The Truth About the Pirate World. If it weren't for waiting for Orochimaru's new discovery, Rasa would have left long ago. Now that it is confirmed that the world of pirates is not simple, the infiltration plan must be implemented, and the world recruitment is imminent. Luo Sha has already planned to leave for the Navy headquarters. Not only that, there are only 2 positions for generals, and it is not necessary for them all to go to the Navy to infiltrate the world. There are 3 major forces in the world government, the Navy, and the Revolutionary Army. Although the world government should control the secrets of the world, the other 2 forces must also lay out their plans. Since to gain world recognition, it is natural to be more famous around the world, the better. Then there is no other place more suitable for the layout than these three forces. Gaara and Karin have been sent to the Demon Kingdom by Rasa, and they are looking for Ivankov to find a way to join the revolutionary army. With Karin's sealing scroll, with the ability to carry such strategic materials, joining is definitely not a problem. Kimimaro and Shiro went to sea without a fixed goal. Rasa only had one request for the two of them, to become the king of the Shichibukai as quickly as possible, and it didn't matter who replaced them. He, Yikang, and Zai Luo joined the navy. He and Yikang's goal is to become generals, and Zai Luo follows Garp to join the Navy's Special Forces Blade. Use the fame of the three major forces to deepen your connection with the world. Improve the degree of integration between fame and the world. Find the truth about the pirate world and confirm whether Shiba Otsutsuki is dead. Everyone else had already set off, but Orochimaru, who had discovered something, told Luo Sha to wait for him for 2 days. Lord Rasa, Orochimaru has achieved results. Ma Jai came out to report. Since he had the cooperation of Shigetsuki Ieyasu, he felt much more relaxed. Across Rasa, I came to Orochimaru's laboratory. The depths of the temple created using ninjutsu were filled with various petri dishes and liquids taken from the seal scrolls, as well as computer equipment. Orochimaru was busy excitedly when he saw Rasa coming in and stepped forward and said, "Lord Rasa, after my constant verification, I found that this world is very interesting, right?" He came to the computer, opened a bunch of DNA maps, and handed some printed pictures to Luo Sha. Luo Sha took it casually without opening it. "I can't understand it even if you tell me. If you have something to say, just say it," Orochimaru said. "After researching during this period, I found that the pirate world is not ordinary. First of all, compared with the ninja world, the human body size in this world is too exaggerated. The leaders of the beasts pirates are 6 to 8 in height. There are multiple races: Jaehin's Lunaria race, Jack's Murloc race, and Kaido with horns on his head. It's simply wonderful." Luo Sha said, "So, don't tell me that you are just happy because you have a lot of research materials." Orochimaru said, "Of course not. In fact, it is because I discovered an amazing secret during the research process. Master Luo Sha, through studying their genes, I found that they may not be an innate race." Luo Sha asked, "What do you mean by that?" Orochimaru said, "It's just what you think. I found elements of artificial intervention in their genes. Jaehin's genes have bird genes, and Jack's genes have fish genes, and Kaido's genes contain cow genes. These genes seem to have been perfectly integrated, but they are not seamless after all. They are not an innate race, but a race born through human intervention." Luo Sha confirmed, "You mean gene fusion? How is it possible? The technological level of Pirate Planet is not low. Quinn is a scientist of the former world government. How could he not know?" Chinese letter, 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 Chinese letter. Chinese letter, 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 Chinese letter. Chinese letter, 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 1 Chinese letter, 1 Chinese letter, Chinese letter, 2 Chinese letter, 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 1 Chinese letter, 1 Chinese letter, Chinese letter, 3 Chinese letter, 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 1 Chinese letter, 1 Chinese letter, Chinese letter, 3 Chinese letter, Chinese letter, Chinese letter, Chinese letter, Chinese letter, Chinese letter, 1 Chinese letter, 1 Chinese letter, Chinese letter, Chinese letter, Chinese letter, 2. I found that there is a genetic problem in the pirate world based on the data of the ninja world. If there is no problem in the pirate world, then it can only mean that there is a genetic problem in all of us in the ninja world. What do you think? You know that I am in my body was fused with snake genes for soft body modification, and no one is more authoritative about gene fusion than me. Not only Kaido's beasts pirates, I also conducted research on the citizens of Wano. Don't you think it's strange? If the beasts pirates are a mixed crew, the residents of Wano are of the same race. But the height is normal from more than 1 meter to more than 3 meters. For a race, the deviation is too big. Luo Sha was silent. In terms of human body modification, no one had more say than Orochimaru. Moreover, most people in Wano are more than 1 meter tall, but Kyuat and Orochi and Kazuki Oden are more than 3 meters tall. The size gap between the same ethnic group is indeed quite different. Not just humans, there are many creatures in Wano. One of them is called the crocodile shark, which is a mixture of crocodiles, sharks, and big cats. There are many such fusion animal species on land. I also asked Kaido to catch me a huge sea beast called a sea bird. The lower body is a fish and the upper body is a bird. After inspection, he was also a hybrid animal that was manipulated by humans. Not only mutated animals, but also normal animals, such as lions, tigers, and wild boars. The genes in their bodies are no longer normal, and they all have traces of being modified. No wonder most of the animals on Pirate Planet are like Stitch monsters, possessing the characteristics of one or more animals. Luo Sha reacted and said, "You mean, the people and animals in the pirate world are probably artificially modified?" Orochimaru shrugged. "I can't be completely sure at the moment, because my analysis materials are only Wano country, Kaido, and nearby creatures, but I think it's almost the same. The pirate world is probably a testing ground for a strong person." Luo Sha couldn't accept it, treating the world as a place for genetic experiments. Orochimaru said, "Actually, with your strength, if you want to control the ninja world like this, you can do it. After all, in the eyes of higher-level beings, there is no difference between the weak and cattle and sheep waiting to be slaughtered. When the Otsutsuki clan came to Earth, isn't it also about sucking the earth dry to achieve the fruit of the divine tree?" Luo Sha shook her head. "This kind of thing," Orochimaru continued, "because of the forced fusion of genes. People in the pirate world have more or less genetic defects. In the past few days, I have searched for information on many fatal diseases from Quinn and found that most of them are caused by genetic defects. Furthermore, people's vitality in the pirate world is at two extremes. Various genes in people who have practiced cultivation will be forcibly fused, causing their vitality to be several times and dozens of times stronger than that of normal people. However, people who have not practiced cultivation will have vitality, but they are more fragile than ordinary people in the ninja world. Especially the practice of armed haki will greatly stimulate the degree of fusion of various genes. I suspect that the person who left behind the haki practice method is the mastermind hidden in the pirate world." End of this chapter. Chapter 268, Devil Fruit or Divine Tree Fruit. Chapter 268, Devil Fruit or Divine Tree Fruit. Trasa was speechless, shocked by Orochimaru's reasoning. It's not Orochimaru's fantasy, but it's very possible to be close to the truth. The pirate planet is most likely a testing ground for a powerful person. Compared with other worlds, the creatures on the pirate planet are indeed a bit strange, and the gap between humans of the same race is also too great. The various creatures and Neptunoids are also more like stitched creatures. No wonder the cultivation of domineering energy is the stepping stone for the strong. Those who cannot cultivate domineering energy cannot integrate the various genes in their bodies. It's like people who can practice in Wano are generally over 2 meters tall, while people who can't practice are generally at a normal height. Orochimaru explained many more views. Thanks to the help of Quinn, a former scientist of the world government, a lot of useless genetic data that Quinn had brought out for his own transformation gave great support to Orochimaru's research. If there is no other explanation, Orochimaru's guess is most likely the truth of the world. If it were true, Luo Sha would be glad that there was no correct sample in this world. Anyway, if Luo Sha knew that the world he was in was just a world of experiments, he would probably go crazy. There are also devil fruits. Orochimaru continued, most of Kaido's here are animal-type devil fruits. There are very few superhuman-type ability users and no natural-type ability users. I have also analyzed the artificial devil fruits in stock, as well as the cat fruit in my hand is in the form of a saber-toothed tiger and the snake fruit is in the form of a Yamato no Orochi. Lord Rasa, I found something more interesting. Rasa really couldn't stand Orochimaru's evil smile. Tell me, looking at the evil smile on your face, let me guess that devil fruits are related to the ninja world. Orochimaru looked surprised. I really can't hide it from Master Luo Sha. First of all, it is an animal-type devil fruit. It contains not only the genes of animals, but also the genes of heretic golems. Master Luo Sha should know how the Sage of Six Paths split into 9-tailed beasts, right? On the pirate planet, animal devil fruits contain the power of the 10 tails to some extent, and the genes of the 10 tails actually appear in a completely unrelated world. Take out 3 fruits, 1 artificial fruit, 1 saber-toothed tiger fruit, and 1 Yamato no Orochi fruit. I don't have any ordinary animal-type fruits on hand, so I'll use artificial devil fruits instead. Animal-type devil fruits should be ordinary ones according to their rarity, ancient ones, and finally phantom beasts. The more precious fruits among them, the more they contain. The more tail genes there are, especially those creatures that do not exist in myths, legends, and fantasy, it seems like a man-made tailed beast. The 9-tailed beasts in the ninja world are also shaped according to the preferences of the 6 Paths sage. The tailed beasts are essentially aggregation of chakra and can have any appearance. In other words, existing animals are created by adding a large number of animal genes, while legendary animals are shaped using the chakra of the 10 tails. There are also Superman-type devil fruits. 2 days ago, I met with a girl named Ayu from Wily Village. She possesses the Dango fruit, a Superman-type devil fruit that can make animals obey his orders. Lord Rasa may not have seen it, but I once saw a boy with the same ability in Qian country, but in the ninja world, this ability is called the blood successor limit. Luo Sha's mind was buzzing. Devil fruit blood successor limit. So devil fruit and blood successor limit are probably the same ability. Orochimaru said, it's very possible. I have studied that boy, and Ayu uses it. When it comes to abilities, it almost matches the boy's genetic arrangement. Then I looked through the devil fruit illustrated book in Kaido's hand and found that many superhuman devil fruits have similar blood inheritance limited abilities in the ninja world, but most of them can't. The blood inheritance limits of abilities used in combat have long been lost in history, not to mention those natural devil fruits, which are almost the most common blood succession limits. The blood succession limits come from chakra, and chakra comes from the 10 tails. The 10 tails can give birth to the fruit of the sacred tree. Lord Rasa, don't you think there is any connection? I need you to contact the ninja world. There are many things I need to confirm with Kaguya. If you simply open a channel for communication without spatial transmission, the consumption is not that big. The matter was of great importance, so Luo Sha naturally expressed her cooperation. Kaguya Otsutsuki can also transform into the 10 tails, and has even eaten chakra fruit, so she must be able to give Orochimaru the right direction. I'll open it for you in a moment. Actually, there is no rush. Many things have been confirmed, but Kaguya needs to give a definite answer. I have also asked Gaara and Kimimaro to send them to me through summoning if they get the devil fruit, and try their best to there may be many other biological samples to determine whether this world is a testing ground for powerful people and its relationship with the sacred tree. But no matter what, Lord Rasa, the connection between the pirate planet and the ninja world is obviously not low. Combined with what you said, Otsutsuki Hagoromo's 6th high-level strength was seriously injured on this planet. He still came after Otsutsuki Shibazu, and the 10-tailed Jhin I discovered is probably the heretic demon of Otsutsuki Shibazu. Do you know what is the scariest thing? The genes of the heretic golem are inactive, which means Otsutsuki Shibazu is probably dead, leaving only the lifeless body of the 10 tails. Otsutsuki Shibazu is the god of the Otsutsuki clan. A strong man above the 6 paths level. The only one who can kill him is obviously a strong man above the 6 paths level. So my inference is that the One Piece planet has a strong man above the 6th level. He killed Otsutsuki Shibazu, and then used Otsutsuki Shibazu's 10-tailed genes to create the Devil Fruit Tree. The Devil Fruit is a degraded version of the Divine Tree Fruit. At the same time, biological research for certain purposes is being carried out here. After countless repeated verifications, Orochimaru came to a surprising conclusion. Looking at Luo Sha with passionate eyes, what a thrilling thing, a world full of conspiracies, is probably the place where Otsutsuki Shibazu hates. Sure enough, following Master Luo Sha will always bring excitement and surprises. The world of pirates is not as simple as it seems. Kaido is known as the 4 Emperors and is one of the strongest beings in the world. But looking at the hidden truth of the world, it is obvious that the limit of this world cannot be above the shadow level. Lord Rasa, I didn't understand at first why you wanted to infiltrate the world in a low-key manner and gain recognition from the world. But now I understand, you must have noticed it a long time ago. Luo Sha's interest was also piqued. Unexpectedly, such a big conspiracy was unexpectedly unlocked. Otsutsuki Shibai was dead and his body turned into a devil fruit tree. The devil fruit is the degraded fruit of the sacred tree. The people on Pirate Planet are all reformers. 2 seemingly incomparable worlds are actually connected in so many ways. No way. When he traveled through time, Oda hadn't even finished drawing the ending, so there was no way to learn from it. But it's so interesting. It seems that I should have activated the passive skill of World Savior. The ninja world has been saved by myself, and now it is the turn of this deformed pirate world. End of this chapter. Chapter 269 New Devil Fruits appear one after another. Chapter 269 New Devil Fruits appear one after another. Sales of the World Economic News Daily have skyrocketed recently. I thought that since the war on the top, the punk hazard showdown between Akenu and Aokiji, and the world conscription, there would be no more world-class news. But what I didn't expect was that it appeared recently. Kaido, the Emperor of the Sea, was defeated by Yamada no Orochi, the patron saint of Wano. The Beast Pirates as a whole joined Wano and became an existence similar to the 8 Treasure Navy of Kai. But can the two be the same? The 8 Treasure Navy is just a relatively famous pirate team. Although the leader King Jiao was once a famous pirate, Kaido is the 4 emperors who rule the New World. When Morgans first broke the news, people once doubted the authenticity of the news. Later, with the consent of Kaido and Yamada no Orochi, Morgans went to Wano country in person, took photos of the two, and conducted a detailed interview. Kaido himself admitted that he surrendered to the envoy of Yamada no Orochi. The whole world is numb all of a sudden. Who would still think of Kaido? Is there any difference between an envoy and a god? All of this is of course Luo Sha's plan. Now that he knows that the world of pirates is not simple and that there are suspected existences above the 6th path level behind him, the plan to integrate into the world must be accelerated. What could spread to every corner of the world faster than news about Morgans? Kaido refused at first, but then nothing happened. Although he kept a cold face throughout the whole process and only said a few words, when the photos of Yamada no Orochi and Kaido were exclusively reported by Morgans, who in the world didn't know about them, to say that the world of Wano country is not the ring finger country, although it is closed to the outside world. It is still very famous as Kaido's stronghold and the origin of the Sea Tower Stone. But in the past, Kaido occupied Wano, but now Kaido is dependent on Wano. The meaning inside is quite different. Kaido was naturally ridiculed a lot. He was ridiculed by all the pirates and was no longer worthy of being called the Four Emperors of the Sea. However, only Big Mom and Shanks, who are also four emperors, know that Kaido will never surrender to an inexplicable patron saint for no reason. No matter how you look at it, it looks like the Yamada no Orochi fruit of the phantom beast species. I heard that it used to be owned by the general of Wano country, but this time I heard that the puppet general also died, so the fruit has changed its owner and the strength can also suppress Kaido. Otherwise, how could Kaido surrender willingly? Even the world government is not satisfied. Because the Qianlong people discovered that Emir Yamada no Orochi dared to call himself a god. So the world government sent CP0, and countless pirates who wanted to challenge Kaido to become the new four emperors came to Wano country. The result is that CP0 escapes in embarrassment. Countless pirate corpses were hung on the cliffs of Onigashima, including the supernova of the evil generation, Yuta Kid. You must know that Kid is the one bounty in the evil generation. After entering the New World, he survived at the hands of Red Hair and Big Mom, and countless New World pirates died at their hands. Now he is a cold corpse hanging on the Ghost Island because of his challenge to Kaido. Suddenly everyone was shocked to realize that Kaido's strength had not changed. He was still the unparalleled pirate emperor. In an instant, Orochimaru's incarnation of Yamada no Orochi was lifted up by Infinite. How strong must be the person who can make Kaido surrender? The world government also ceased its activities and comforted the celestial dragons that the patron saint was not an orthodox god. After the Summit War, the world government's combat power was seriously insufficient. If the celestial dragons' instructions were followed, it would be the Second Summit War. But without the cooperation of the Navy, a CP0 plus the Knights of God alone would not be enough to defeat Kaido in Kaido's lair. With the fall of Yuta Kid, countless new pirates have become famous. The most famous among them is the Sunagakure Pirates, which has recently emerged. Its leader Kimimaro possesses the Superman Bone Fruit, which allows all the bones in his body to blossom at will. Vice Captain Shiro is said to have taken the form of a phantom beast called the Snow Girl after eating the human fruit, and can freely manipulate ice and snow. Those who fought against him even said that his ice and snow power was not weaker than that of former Navy Admiral Aokiji. The first time the two went to sea, they robbed the ship that offered heavenly gold and slaves to the celestial dragons. Thanks to the outstanding performance of the two, the Navy set a bounty of 6 million Baileys and 5 million Baileys respectively for the two, breaking Ace's first record for the highest bounty. I heard that the government has sent people to contact them. As long as the two of them are willing to return the heavenly gold, they can become the new king of Shichibukai. In addition, the Revolutionary Army also suddenly moved frequently. Two extremely talented cotters were introduced by Ivankov. One person is named Gara, and he possesses the form of Sand Shikaku, the phantom beast species of the animal fruit. Although no one has heard of it, his ability to control sand is stronger than that of Crocodile, the original king of the sand fruit, Shichibukai. But what is more important is the female cotters who are classified as top secret by the Revolutionary Army. It is said that the superhuman fruit that has mastered the sealing fruit can make a sealing scroll. This sealing scroll can seal a huge amount of materials into a small scroll, and can even be used repeatedly, completely solving the problem of material rationing for the Revolutionary Army. Difficult questions. A huge headache for the world government. Because it is not only materials but also weapons that can be sealed. Several countries were unknowingly transported with weapons and equipment and then overthrown. Why was this artifact? which can be called a portable space, obtained by the Revolutionary Army World Government directly offered a reward of 5 million and only asked for information on the specific appearance, name, and age of the sealed fruit, and it could only be captured alive. The reward for capturing it alive was a full 40 billion, the worth of a Yonko. With such a powerful ability, the world government wants to possess it more than anyone else. However, the information about the user of the sealed fruit is top secret in the Revolutionary Army. Apart from the initial introducer Ivankov and the people present, only the top brass of the Revolutionary Army and the fiancé of the sealed fruit user Gara know. The world government repeatedly inquired but failed, so they had to give in and buy a sealing scroll from a trader in the Revolutionary Army at a high price. However, after Vegapunk's research, there was no progress at all, and in the end, due to overuse, he was directly scrapped. The busiest person right now is the publisher of the Devil Fruit illustrated book. In successive updates, the Bone Fruit, the Snow Girl form of the Phantom Beast Seed, the Shikaku form of the Phantom Beast Seed Sand, and the Sealed Fruit are all fruits that have never appeared before. The front feet have just been updated, and new ones appear on the back feet, which is really unbearable. People who had bought it came to get refunds one after another. Fortunately, it took a long time, so I could shirk it. It only took a few months, so I had to resubscribe for free to those who had bought it before. Today, the editor-in-chief of the Devil Fruit illustrated book had just finished filling in the new Phantom Beast, Sand Shikaku form, and the Sealed Fruit, when he saw his editor running in a hurry. My heart skipped a beat. It is said that the devil fruits in the world have been almost counted. This is the first time that fruits that have not appeared in the past few months have appeared one after another, and the panic of editors often means that new fruits have appeared. The editor-in-chief was speechless. Are there any new fruits? The editor nodded. During the Navy World recruitment, a new fruit appeared. The user is Yikang. The fruit is a burning fruit that can emit a small sun. End of this chapter. Chapter 270 Luo Sha's Resentment. Chapter 270 Luo Sha's Resentment. Zai Luo. Do you think the state of the god of wealth of the human fruit fantasy beast is so ugly? Zai Luo didn't dare to talk. At the Navy headquarters martial arts training ground, Luo Sha was really depressed. Looking at the cronies on the news who have overfulfilled their tasks, they have fallen far behind. One is because the turmoil caused by Kaido's surrender to Wano country was too great. One is because Rasa stayed in Wano and opened several space wormhole contacts for Orochimaru and Kaguya. After passing a devil fruit to Kaguya, Kaguya immediately determined that the devil fruit in the pirate world was a divine tree fruit that had been degraded countless times and mixed with other powers. And it was confirmed that the gene of the heretic golem on the animal devil fruit did come from Otsutsuki Shibai. Kaguya couldn't sit still for a while, and immediately wanted to come to the pirate planet in person, but she was persuaded to stop after trying hard to persuade her. But it is at least a good thing to confirm the death of Otsutsuki Shiba. Otsutsuki Hagoromo said that over the years, the fruits of the sacred tree of the Otsutsuki clan have been passed on to Otsutsuki Shibaru through sacrifices. And now that Otsutsuki Shiba is dead, to whom did the power of these sacred tree fruits go to? Otsutsuki Mamashiki, Jinchiki, and Yurashiki are already the last of the Otsutsuki clan. So Rasa persuades Kaguya that there is no point in coming to the pirate planet. They will definitely explore the truth of the world. Instead of all coming to the pirate planet, you might as well go to Otsutsuki's home planet to look for clues. Kaguya immediately agreed and took Hamura, Black Setsu, Uchiha Madara, who was not too concerned about the matter, and Senju Hashirama, who was in a spiritual state, to the home planet of the Otsutsuki clan, and agreed to contact them after half a year. After that, Luo Sha and others conducted many experiments. For example, Pirate Planet can be eaten from an object, allowing the object to gain the ability of the Devil Fruit. How many people can use the clone technique to gain the ability of the Devil Fruit? For example, water clones, earth clones, etc. are still water and earth in nature. The result is no. Not only does it have no effect if the clone eats the devil fruit, but the devil fruit will regenerate instantly. If it had not been stopped in time, the devil fruit would have escaped. Orochimaru, who did not believe in evil, ate the devil fruit, and it exploded instantly as if he had eaten 2 devil fruits. Fortunately, Orochimaru was able to regenerate his limbs, otherwise he would have died. In the end, it was concluded that the abilities of chakra and devil fruits conflict and cannot exist at the same time. Had to give up. Then came the interview with Morgans. If Luo Sha hadn't been there, Kaido wouldn't have cooperated at all. Then, pirates who thought Kaido was gone came to Wano country to provoke them one after another, and were killed by Kaido one by one, and hung on the Onigashima island. During this period, I harvested many devil fruits and genetic samples for research, and even a natural swamp fruit. This fruit that was supposed to belong to Caribou in the future is still in the body of a big pirate. Through research, it was further concluded that the abilities of natural ability users are the blood inheritance limit of the ninja world. Kaido, who used to love talents, after joining Luo Sha, no longer treats challengers by imprisoning them, so even the supernova kid of the extremely evil era would kill him instantly. Kid, who had neither top-level haki nor deep development fruits, had no ability to resist at this time. He was easily killed and his body was hung on the ghost island. However, Luo Sha resented Kid's appearance. At the beginning, everyone thought about it, and based on their abilities, they compiled devil fruits that fit the pirate world. Gaara is in the form of Shikaku, the animal type phantom beast type sand. Phosphorus is a sealed fruit. Kimimero is the bone fruit. Shiro is the Yukiana form of the human fruit phantom beast species. Ikang is the burning fruit. As long as you don't use other ninjutsu easily, no one will notice it. It's perfect. However, what Luo Sha is best at is gold dust, so he decided to use Gold's ability at the beginning. Because now the gold fruit is in Tesoro's hands, Luo Sha gave his ability the name Human Fruit Fantasy Beast form of the God of Wealth. But it was rejected by 1 vote, and everyone said that this fruit's ability was too unreliable. Luo Sha immediately objected. Why can one of you be in the form of Shikaku, the Phantom Beast, and the other one can be in the form of the Phantom Beast, Yukiana, but I, the God of Wealth, can't be in my form? The Navy Marshal is still in the form of a giant Buddha. Everyone knows that Master Luo Sha has bad taste, but this is too childish. After all, there are related legends about Yukiana in the world of pirates. Shiro can also transform into Yukiana with the help of transformation skills, which is perfect. Although there are no legends about Sand Shikaku in the pirate world, we have a real Shikaku. Shikaku said that he came to the new world and wanted to go out and see it. So even if there is no legend, there is still a real existence. Who else can sail? Luo Sha immediately transformed into the God of Wealth holding an ingot in his hand. I can change too. What's wrong? Finally suppressed the objections with force, but he never expected Kid to die. With the magnetic fruit in hand, Orochimaru, Maki, Ikang, and Zai Luo looked at Luo Sha with sincere eyes that were self-evident. Luo Sha had no choice but to compromise. After all, the form of the God of Wealth was a bit inconsistent. It can only be said that in this chaotic world, people have no pursuit of the God of Wealth. He had no choice but to use his second-best magnetic escape. Kid is dead and the magnetic fruit is in hand and will never be exposed. So they didn't waste any more time, and Luo Sha flew at full speed, taking Ikang and Zai Luo to New Marineland. A few people arrived just in time because the world conscription was about to end. World conscription is not without barriers. Although the original intention is to select the strongest in the world, it does not accept everyone. After all, anyone with a bounty of about million in this world is a strong person, but if these people are allowed to enter the Navy through world conscription, the Navy will become a joke to the world and lose face. Therefore, even Akenu, who proposed the world conscription, had very high requirements for the world conscription itself. Firstly, it cannot be a criminal, and secondly, it cannot be a wanted criminal, whether a pirate or from other countries. Therefore, so far, not many people have passed the world conscription, and even fewer are truly strong. After all, it is impossible for any strong person to know in advance that the Navy will recruit soldiers from all over the world, and then practice silently until today, and then join the Navy. Most of the strong men came out of bloody battles, and they were basically wanted. This time, the Navy was surprised that there were two innocent strong men who were comparable to generals, Xiao and Huang Mu. Even apart from a smile, it is said that Aramaki's background is not clean. He was murderous in non-franchised countries, but was only wiped out by the world conquest, and he was recommended to Akenu. Don't make it too obvious if you want to make a default decision. So at the end of the month, the world conscription was about to end, and Luo Sha and the other three came to sign up. The first is wanted warrant detection. The three of them were naturally extremely clean. Xiao had records of entering the casino many times for the first time, and Luo Sha and the others were as clean as a blank piece of paper. The three of them said that they had been practicing on a deserted island and had only recently seen the world recruiting soldiers. It's not that there are no such people, but they are too few. The chaos and disorder in the pirate world makes it impossible for the Navy to conduct a thorough investigation, and it is not impossible to suspect that the three of them are disguised. However, if some extremely vicious people come to the Navy to work undercover, it can only mean that they are impatient to live. The three passed smoothly and came to the second level, the strength test. End of this chapter. Chapter 271, Internal Conflicts in the Navy. Chapter 271, Internal Conflicts in the Navy. There was just something unexpected during the strength test. Because the strength testing tools have been removed, when they heard that Luo Sha and others were coming to participate in the Navy recruitment, Navy Captains Shun and Barry Good, who were in charge of the strength testing, were dissatisfied and said to the Navy soldiers in charge of registration and wanted order testing, "Why didn't I ask you to withdraw your registration?" The battle for the general between the two general replacements Taudu and T-Dolphin in the martial arts arena and the monster newcomers Aramaki and Yixiao has begun. Why are you still accepting registrations now? The world conscription went on for many months. Those who can register, those who should register have already completed their registration and now have entered the final stage of selection. Replenished by two generals from the Navy headquarters, the super-powerful Peach Rabbit and T-Dolphin faced off against the two monster newcomers who stood out at the end of the world recruitment, Aramaki and Yixiao. Needless to say, Peach Rabbit and T-Dolphin, as the Navy's backup generals for many years, are so powerful that they can crush all ordinary lieutenant generals, except for people like Garp and Crane who cannot use military ranks to evaluate their strength. Even if it hadn't been for Marshal Akenu's insistence on having his own way, Momo Uzagi and Cha-Du would have been promoted to admirals by now. The world conscription, even though it conducts very strict assessments on those who come to participate in the conscription, still causes quite a shock in the Navy. The Navy has a strict promotion system, and everyone is truly promoted to military rank based on merit and strength. Even the second generation, who has nothing to do with others, still has to follow the strong ones to gain seniority. Moreover, the second generation thing is limited to the Navy branch. There are no such second generations incompatible with the strength in the headquarters. Even now, many are no more than colonels with years of meritorious service. However, under the global conscription, many people directly airborne major generals and lieutenant generals based on their strength. This is a shock to the Navy that has worked hard for many years. Even if those who participate in the global military conscription have a relatively clean foundation, it does not mean that they have good character. They can definitely think of ways to discredit the Navy in the future. And there are only colonels, major generals, and lieutenant generals, but even generals want to be appointed to these people who have never achieved any meritorious service. What is a general's highest combat power of the Navy, and the face of the Navy can completely represent the existence of the Navy. Take a look at the past generals, the current Marshal Cyborg, the former Marshal Sengoku, the Navy Chief Instructor Zephyr, the current Marshal Sakazuki, the departed Aoki Kyuzen, and the only remaining lone seedling, the Yellow Monkey Poruzalino. They are all trained by the Navy from soldiers, and all aspects can be guaranteed. They are strong and strong. Even though their character has some flaws, they are generally flawless and can represent the Navy with confidence. As a result, Ixiao and Ermu are now qualified to compete for generals because of their superior strength, which many Navy generals cannot accept at all. Even warring states, Zephyr and he expressed their clear opposition. However, they retired and did not care about things, and they have long lost their former authority. Marshal Akenu had his own way and had the support of the world government, so he was pushed down. But it still caused Sakazuki's prestige to drop significantly in the Navy. They said it was to make up for the high-end combat power lost in the top war, but in fact it was just to cultivate his own direct lineage. In the Navy, the one with the highest voice for Marshal is Aokiji, who has left. Not only does his justice fit well with the image of the Navy, but he has also been jointly recommended by Sengoku and 4 Navy legends, Barp, Zephyr, and Tsuru. He even began to perform his duties as a marshal, but Akenu refused to accept it. With the support of the 5 old stars, Akenu and Aokiji fought in Punk Hasad for 10 days and 10 nights. In the end, Aishima was defeated and left the Navy. Sakazuki takes over. The position was not right, and Sakazuki had almost no support in the Navy except for the extremists. Akenu also knew this, and the first thing he did after becoming the marshal was to exchange the original G1 branch and the Navy headquarters to build a new marine fando. It is said that in order to protect the new world, he has an irreconcilable desire to kill pirates. However, there are rumors among the Navy that Akenu is trying to erase the old order of the Navy and establish his own rules. Marine fando has been run by the Warring States period for many years, and Zephyr has trained batches of naval generals here. In Marine fando, even the retired Sengoku are more effective than Akenu. With the completion of the construction of G1, Akenu has indeed established his own order. In addition, Sengoku and others have really retired, and they have no intention of continuing to compete for rights with Akenu. However, these Marines can also accept it. After all, the marshal has been changed and Sakazuki is the original general. But the generals in the world's recruitment competition really can't bear it. The one who opposed the most was Zephyr. He had trained generations of naval admirals and could not stand Sakazuki's behavior of randomly disrupting the order of the Navy. There were several conflicts with Sakazuki, and he even resigned from his position as chief instructor and was replaced by Sengoku. But it still did not change Sakazuki's decision, and it completely angered the Navy generals, who all said that the Navy generals could not be selected in this way. It's okay to know that Ixiao has no bad habits except for gambling, and he is very good at gambling. And that Aramaki committed murders in countless non-franchised countries. Although the non-franchised countries are not protected by the government, it also proves that his character is not very good. Moreover, Huang Mu and the Celestial Dragons are too close, and they are completely the lackeys of the Celestial Dragons. You must know that most people in the Navy are superficially tolerant of the Tianlong people, but they don't like them at all. Aramaki was recommended by the 5 old stars, and the Navy itself suspected that the world government was using it to divide the Navy. However, the opposition within the Navy did not stop Akenu at all. In the end, it was decided that Peach Rabbit and T-Dolphin would fight against Aramaki and Ixiao respectively, and the winner would be the new general of the Navy. Peach Rabbit and T-Dolphin also accepted, and the Navy temporarily stopped causing trouble. Although Aramaki and Ixiao are very powerful in the eyes of the Navy, they are still no match for Peach Rabbit and T-Dolphin. You must know that these two people have fought countless bloody battles, and masters like Huang Mu and Yixiao who are strong but not famous are definitely not as good as Taodu and Chadu in terms of experience and strength. The final selection of generals is already underway at the competition ground next door. You originally asked people to remove the registration points for the world's military recruitment, but then you brought 3 more people. What's the point? It's impossible for these 3 people to have the strength of generals, right? Both Ziyun and Billy Good had almost packed away the strength testing tools and were ready to watch the battle between Peach Rabbit and T-Dolphin. How could they think of testing the strength of Luo Sha and others? Then he said, I'm really sorry, the world recruitment has stopped today and the final general competition has begun nearby. You should know what the general's strength means. I think you should leave. Luo Sha was very lucky to have caught up. If she came here tomorrow, she would really not be able to catch up. That's not right. Let's not mention that the world recruitment lasts for 1 year. Your navy can stop it at will. Even if it stops midway, today is the last day. Since I signed up, I'm eligible to participate in the world recruitment, right? End of this chapter. Chapter 272. Where did the monster come from? Chapter 272. Where did the monster come from? Ziyun and Barrigud were speechless. We are trying to persuade you with good intentions, but why don't you know what is good and what is good besides? The worldwide military recruitment has been going on for several months, so those who really want to participate have already arrived. The news that Taodu and T-Dolphin will face off against Aramu and Yixiao today is not a secret. Signing up for the world conscription on this day, in the eyes of Ziyun and Barrigud, the 3 of them were missed. After all, there is no time for careful inspection. If you have some strength, you can become an official in the Navy. It was not uncommon for Ziyun and Bailey Good to see people like this. After going through the world recruitment, they went to various branches. The requirements there were not as high as the headquarters. Basically, they became the local emperor. Just looking at Luo Sha, Yikang and Sai Luo, just standing there, you can tell that they are quite powerful. It's just that everyone came to take advantage of the world's recruitment loophole, and in the end it was the Navy's reputation that was ruined. Zhu said, think carefully, today is not a day to pick up the slack. If you pass the test, you will have to face the winner when chosen by the opposing general. I thought I could use this to scare Luo Sha and the others away. Unexpectedly, Luo Sha immediately became excited. Really, if we pass, we will fight the winner of the general selection competition, and the winner will directly become a general. That saves the trouble. I originally thought it would take a lot of fighting. Ziyun and Barrigud looked at each other, knowing that they were really here to participate in the world conscription, but they were a little embarrassed. If I ask you to go directly, it will be strange if you have your fate. You have to be qualified to challenge a general. How much haki have you mastered? Or are there any special devil fruits? Since these people really plan to join the Navy, there is no problem with the wanted order, and their character should be good enough. Anyway, Luo Sha is right. Today is the last day of the deadline, so let's judge the 3 of them carefully. There are also shortcuts to the world's military recruitment. Those who are proficient in the knowledge color and the armed color domineering can directly become a colonel. Those who meet the full armed color standard can become a major general or lieutenant general. And if you master a powerful devil fruit and have the potential to cultivate it, depending on the degree of development of the fruit, you can consider granting a military rank. The 2 of us have initially mastered haki, and Zai Luo has fully mastered the armed color and the wisdom color. It's not that I don't practice, it's just that it's too simple. The country of Wano has the training method of high-level armed color flow Sekura, and Kaidona also has the training method of armed color and knowledge color. After everyone in the ninja world understood it, even Maki, who was the least qualified, mastered the armed color with almost no effort. And seeing, hearing, and color. After all, the weakest among them are all at the peak of shadow level. In this world, they belong to the rank of Imperial Vice Deputy and General. With such strength, it is not easy to practice Armed Color and Wisdom Color. But the reason why Armed Color Haki is powerful in the pirate world is that it can help integrate the genes in the body and activate everyone's potential to the greatest extent. However, for a few people in the ninja world, they do not have complex genes in their bodies, and the increase brought by armed colors is very limited. Under the situation, except for Zai Luo, who is interested in martial arts, and Orochimaru, who has undergone software transformation, others are not very interested in the practice of haki. If you have to master it, it's not that difficult. Scone and Very Good looked strange. Even the two of them have only just mastered the application of armed color and knowledge color haki. Although haki is a very common power in the New World, as long as they master it, they will be pirates with a bounty of nearly a million. You said preliminary mastery is still possible, that complete mastery called Ziluo? Are you kidding? The standard for complete mastery is the color of the entire body. A strong man of this level starts as a lieutenant general. Although Zai Luo's body looks strong, she is not an aboriginal pirate after all. In this world where multiple genes are fused, anyone who has practiced haki can feel the physical strength. Although Zai Luo is strong, that is, as strong as an ordinary person, she does not look like she has completely mastered the weapon color. Now that Mr. Ziluo has completely mastered the use of armed color haki, why not give us a demonstration? Very Good wanted to see the moment when several people's lies were exposed. Zai Luo nodded and took a deep breath. The next moment, the weapon color was running inside her body. Her whole body became pitch black, reflecting light in the sun, and her muscles were filled with a metallic texture. Both Scone and Very Good were dumbfounded. It turned out to be really full of armor. It's just that the intensity doesn't seem to be that high. Although Very Good admired him very much, he still kindly suggested, Zai Luo, right? You have almost complete control of the armed color, but your domineering power is not that sufficient. Instead of arming the whole body like this, it is better to just focus on your hands, and in terms of defense, the hardness cannot be reached, and fully armed colors will increase consumption. Very Good had good intentions. Zai Luo's strength can definitely pass the world recruitment. Although the strength is not enough, he can at least get the position of Major General with his full body armor. And at first glance, Zai Luo is a pure warrior, not someone who commits crimes. It is inevitable that there is some natural affinity. If such a person joins the Navy, the world's conscripts will not be so rejected. Have it? Zai Luo scratched his head. His armament skills had reached the top level, and he even got Kaido's approval. The two had competed against each other many times, winning and losing. But I feel stronger. Bailey Good is a little embarrassed. I just kindly remind you, you haven't received systematic training, so why don't you listen to the advice? In that case, just try to hit me with all your strength. Very Good turned his hands dark, and based on the strength of Zai Luo's color perception, he should be able to defend himself. You sure? Come on, newcomer, we are likely to be colleagues in the future. This is the first lesson I want to teach you. The sea is very big, and the Navy has the most complete training methods. Don't be self-righteous. Okay. Ziluo instantly accelerated to Very Good's side and struck out with all her strength. The moment Bailey Good touched Ziluo's fist, he regretted it. Was he going to die from this force? What kind of monster-level power was this? For a moment, he felt that even Teacher Zepha's fist was not this hard. Then the power of Dadu Fruit was activated, but the whole person was still blown away by Zai Luo's armed color. There was a boom, and the whole person was embedded in the wall. Then, with his embedding point as the center, cracks appeared densely on the wall, and with a bang, the dozens of meters of wall shattered into countless pieces. Very Good was frightened for a while. His whole body reassembled in the ruins. If he hadn't been a bean fruit user, or if it hadn't been for Zai Luo's retention, he would be dead now. He could feel that Zai Luo had actually withdrawn her strength the moment she touched him. However, after activating the Daodu fruit himself, Zai Luo continued to release the recovered power. Even so, Zai Luo's attack was not from his body, but through the contact point of his body, cattle across the mountain. If it was really aimed at him, even if it split into beans, that part of his body would be directly shattered. What a terrifying strength. End of this chapter. Chapter 273 Shameless Huang Mu. Chapter 273 Shameless Huang Mu. This means that Zai Luo's control of power has reached the level of freedom. The moment he realizes that he can't take it, he withdraws his strength. The moment he realizes that his fruit is activated, he releases the withdrawn power again, and then releases the power hitting himself through the air. I just taught Zai Luo so brazenly. It turned out that the clown turned out to be himself. Ziyuan came forward to check on Bailey Good and found that his companion was fine and saw the broken building. The strength of the two in the Navy can only be regarded as average, but they are not small players. There are many who can kill two people in an instant, but those who control the power to such a terrifying level can even hurt Barricade, who has split into Daodu. Only a lieutenant general can do it. Still the kind of top lieutenant general. Is he another new monster? He is fully qualified to challenge Yixiao and Iramu. However, Zai Luo's impression of the two was good, but it was a pity for them. Being able to directly challenge the general as mentioned just now was not something they could decide on. In fact, according to the process, whoever wins the duel between Peach Rabbit, T-Dolphin, Aramaki and Yixiao will basically be the general. Now that they saw Zai Luo's potential, the two of them felt a little guilty. No matter how strong they were, they might not be qualified to compete for the general. And since they are together and Zai Luo is so strong, the remaining two must be extraordinary. He said to Luo Sha and Yi Kang seriously, "You two, please don't say anything about just preliminary mastery of domineering. What is your strength?" Zai Luo said, "Lord Luo Sha and Lord Yi Kang are both stronger than me." Bailey Good was shocked. "Can you master the domineering power better than Zai Luo?" Luo Sha told the truth. "We are indeed inferior to Zai Luo in terms of domineering, but we have the power of the devil fruit. Yi Kang has the burning fruit, and I have the human magnetic fruit." I almost subconsciously said that I am the fruit of everyone. Scorching fruit. Is it a fire-based ability? It's another new fruit. Ziyu and Dao, possessing the devil fruit, will indeed be more powerful than a single domineering practitioner. In the pirate world, the only top powerhouse without the fruit is Lieutenant General Garp. Strangely enough, the world is a big place, and one or two unrecorded new fruits appear every year, but this year there seem to be a lot. Among the flame-type fruits, the most famous ones are Charlotte Deifuku's hot fruit, Death Ace's burning fruit, and Marshall Sakaski's rockberry fruit. Is your burning fruit heated, or is it a direct attack? The name sounds like it's like Charlotte Deifuku. It can be heated and has the ability to heat even the sea. Yi Kang didn't waste any time and raised his hand directly. A small fireball condensed in his hand. An attack type? Condensed fireball. This one is a bit small and the temperature is average. What is your limit? Just aim it at the open space and release it with all your strength. With Zai Luo in front, knowing that Yi Kang's ability is definitely more than that, Ziyuan is not stupid enough to take it hard, and it should be no problem to release it into the open space. Sure. Yi Kang asked the same question as Zai Luo. Ziyuan had a bad premonition, so he bit the bullet and said, "Just attack the open space, don't attack people." He followed worriedly. Yi Kang nodded and used all his strength to use the normal scorching escape. In an instant, the small fireball expanded instantly. In a few breaths, a large fireball comparable to the Flame Emperor appeared in Yi Kang's hand. The scorching heat burned Ziyuan and Bilegud until they were sore. Ziyuan has begun to regret it. Even if such an attack hits an open space, The damage caused cannot be small. Wait. As soon as he spoke to stop him, Yikang had already thrown out his burning escape, and a fireball over 30 meters directly fell on the ground, directly evaporating the land on the ground and burning it into magma. Then the fireball continued to fall, and new magma was continuously generated, so strong that it sputtered out. Half of the venue was destroyed by Yikang's burning escape. At the same time, the competition ground next door. The battle was coming to an end, and all the Navy's faces were gloomy and ugly. Because Peach Rabbit and T-Dolphin, who had high hopes from the Navy, were beaten very embarrassingly. T-Dolphin has already lost to Yixiao, but Yixiao's character is still acceptable, and his philosophy is similar to that of the Navy. T-Dolphin's failure can be regarded as inferior in skill, and there is nothing to say. Peach Rabbit's battle is unacceptable. Although they are still barely holding on at the moment, defeat is only a matter of time. Aramaki incarnates and hates the forest, forcing Peach Rabbit to retreat, and keeps talking trash. Beauty, what's wrong? If you can't hold on anymore, you have to admit defeat. Don't forget our agreement. You have to feed me for a month. He said frivolous words and waved his forest tentacles. Even if Peach Shizagi cuts down the trees with Jinbei, Aramaki will grow back instantly. In fact, at the beginning of the battle between the two, Taoru had the advantage. Just when Taoru was about to win, Aramaki suddenly rushed into the side of the Navy, absorbed countless nutrients from the Navy, and resurrected on the spot. Suddenly, as a woman, Peach Rabbit was at a disadvantage due to her physical strength. You must know that the strength of Taoru, T-Dolphin, Yixiao, and Huang Mu is about the same, and the difference in strength between them is not big. At first, Taoru and Chadu thought that they had rich fighting experience, and they were stronger than Yixiao and Aramu at critical moments. He also swore to his colleagues that he would not let anyone take away his position as general. Unexpectedly, first the T-Dolphin was defeated, and then Aramaki adopted such a shameless way to gain the advantage. Although many people protested on the spot, Akenu, under the watchful eye of CP0 Rob Luki, the monitor sent by the 5 old stars, still insisted on continuing the fight. If this is a battlefield, can we still ask the enemy to treat you fairly? But Akenu's statement obviously didn't make sense. Zephyr immediately retorted, "But this is a fair competition. Sakaski, you let me down so much. Has the right corrupted your justice to such an extent? Besides, which one of us old guys has snatched the right from you? Are you so worried that you have to take over one of your own?" The words that broke his face made Akenu feel a little embarrassed for a while. It's one thing for these things to be tacitly known to everyone, but it's another thing to say them face to face. Teacher Zephyr, pay attention to what you said. The Navy suffered heavy losses in the top war. Is it wrong for me to supplement the top combat strength? Besides, don't you understand after the battle with Whitebeard? Our Navy needs people who break the rules, not follow the old rules. It can only be said that Taoru is not as skilled as Aramu, but she can use the same method if she can. Zephyr was furious. He would not be unable to accept a fair defeat like that of Chadu, but Aramu's words and deeds, as well as his tendency to overthrow the Qianlong people, would definitely not allow Aramu to become a general. But Akenu is determined as a marshal, and it's not like he, Sengoku, Garp, and Crane haven't stopped him. Seeing that Taoru's failure is a foregone conclusion, do we really want to accept someone like Aramaki to become a naval admiral unless a miracle happens now, or someone breaks the situation? Just when the atmosphere was tense, a violent rumbling sound suddenly came from the next door. Several people looked at it with a sense of sight, and suddenly felt an attack force that was not inferior to that of a general. Zephyr was feeling suffocated and simply said directly, "I'll go take a look." End of this chapter. Chapter 274. The stage next door is more suitable for you. Chapter 274. The stage next door is more suitable for you. The two sides were not far apart. Zephyr remembered that the world recruitment should have stopped. Why was there still so much movement at the testing site belonging to the world recruitment? And what's going on with the powerful attack power that Jian Wen Si Haki perceives? When I got here, I saw Yi Kang's burning eruption erupting, evaporating the ground into magma. Even though they were tens of meters apart, the heat emitted by the sun-like fireball was still painful, and I subconsciously wanted to block it with domineering force. Yi Kang's burning release directly melted the ground for dozens of meters before gradually cooling down. This was just the most ordinary burning release, not a black sun and no magical transformation. Destructive power at the level of a general. Supported by the people of Wano and recognized by the will of the world, the strength of these few people is almost the same as that of the ninja world. Zhu En regretted very much that he had spoken a second too late. How could he be such a monster? This kind of damage is very troublesome to repair. Then he suddenly saw Zephyr walking straight to the place where Yi Kang attacked. Even though the burning escape had cooled down, magma was still rolling in the pit, emitting high temperatures. Teacher Zephyr, I'm sorry, it's all my fault with such a big movement. It was not surprising that people came to take a look. Zhu En immediately stepped forward to admit his mistake to Zephyr. Zephyr waved his hand, looked at Luo Sha and the others, and then noticed the ruins of the building that were broken into stones. He went to the wreckage and observed it carefully. Very Good also ran over. Teacher Zephyr. Zephyr asked, "What's going on?" Zhu En said, "That's right, Teacher Zephyr. These 3 people signed up before the world recruitment deadline. The 2 of us just let them test our full power attack. We didn't expect it to be so terrifying." Zephyr curiously took the information in Zhu En's hand and compared it with the 3 of Luo Sha. Zhu En continued to explain, "This place was caused by Zai Luo's attack. He indirectly destroyed the building through Bailey Good's body through his armed domineering energy. The fireball just now was sent by Yi Kang, who is the one with the ability of the burning fruit is a new fruit. As for Luo Sha, he has the ability of the magnetic fruit, but he hasn't had time to test it yet." Zhu En had made simple notes on the 3 people's information, and combined with Zhu En's explanation, Zephyr roughly understood what happened. Although I don't know why the 3 of them came to participate in the world recruitment before the end, as the former chief instructor of the Navy, Zephyr, who trained Akenu, Aokiji, Kizaru and other naval admirals, immediately confirmed that the 3 of them were very important powerful. The high temperature and destructive power emitted by Yagira's fireball was by no means inferior to Akenu's magma. Judging from the damage caused to Ziluo, the control of power has reached a terrifying level. Especially the damage caused indirectly through Bailey Good's body, which is far more difficult than direct damage. Experts will know if there is any. Although these people did not show their strong bodies, their spirit, energy and spirit were highly unified. Even without the blessing of domineering power, their hidden explosive power was still amazing, no less than those with top-level domineering power strong. A strong man no weaker than a general. It seems that with the death of Whitebeard, the world has become no longer peaceful. For decades, there have been very few people with general-level strength, but now they appear one by one. First there was Yixiao and Huang Mu, and then 3 more people came, which was like a sign that the world was about to undergo great changes. Well, both of them have finished the test. Do I want to test it? Luo Sha knew Zephyr, but Zephyr certainly didn't know Luo Sha. Now the new king Shichibukai has not yet been elected, Whitebeard Roman II has not taken the throne, and Zephyr has not left the navy yet. However, I feel that the opponent is almost finished, and my side is not finished yet. What should I do if I miss the general selection? Xiu En felt relieved. They were all monsters, and even Teacher Zephyr was alarmed. But it would be nice for Teacher Zephyr to come over, so that I don't have to have a headache. Teacher Zephyr, look at this Luo Sha. Do you want you to test it? According to Zai Luo, Luo Sha is the leader of the 3, and his strength is definitely not weak, but he is a magnetic fruit ability user. His predecessor Kid, the fruit user, died not long ago on Ghost Island. I'm afraid Luo Sha's ability to develop the fruit is not very high, but he must be very capable to become the leader of the 3. I was underestimated without realizing it. The magnetic fruit is certainly not weak. Otherwise, Kid would not have become the person with the highest bounty in the Age of Evil with this fruit. But everyone knows that Kid died not long after he challenged Kaido. Luo Sha must still be in the familiar stage of getting the magnetic fruit, and his ability to develop it must be very limited to metal manipulation at most, just like Kid. You must know that the only natural type devil fruit that is recognized as being able to immediately develop combat effectiveness after obtaining the fruit. Superman-type devil fruits need to be familiar with the characteristics of their abilities, and then develop them continuously to form powerful combat capabilities. Even with Zai Luo and Yi Kang in front, Zun and Beleaguered didn't think Luo Sha would be stronger than the two of them. Zai Luo's words may be more about saving face for the leader. Being able to become a leader is probably due to birth, not necessarily strength. However, Zephyr did not look down upon them. He could feel from what he had seen and heard that Luo and Yi Kang were not weaker than his younger self. But Luo Sha could not see clearly that such people could not be weak. Moreover, his impression of the three of them was acceptable, at least much better than that of people like Aramu. Edge is a very mysterious thing, and he instantly confirmed that the three of them were definitely not treacherous or evil people. He would rather accept the three people in front of him as generals than accept Aramu as generals. So he said to Luo Sha, "In this case, you can show your full strength. I guarantee it in the name of a former admiral and former chief instructor of the Navy. As long as your strength reaches the level, I recommend you to participate in the selection of generals. Taodu's defeat is only a matter of time." Huang Mu is obviously not involved with the Tianlong people, and his character is questionable. This kind of person can never become a general. Since you, Akenu, have proposed a world conscription, and since Peach Rabbit and T-Dog cannot do it, then why can't they do it if there is a general-level strong man now? Zun and Bailey Good also heaved a sigh of relief. The promise that the three of them could directly fight the general just now was entirely their own fault. Now, with Teacher Zephyr's guarantee, it is no longer a problem. Luo Sha was running electromagnetic force all over her body, thinking about what moves she should use. Q Dayu is overqualified and not shocking. His attacks are more shocking than Zai Luo and Yi Kang's. How about the electromagnetic gun? Suddenly Luo Sha thought of a more shocking attack method. Then he confirmed to Zephyr, "Are you sure I can use my full strength?" Just as Zephyr was about to agree, Zun quickly said, "No, we are not sure. Learn from mistakes." Zai Luo asked, "The building was destroyed." Yi Kang asked, "And opened a magma bath for you on the ground." Now Luo Sha asked again. Zun refused directly. Although Luo Sha's magnetic fruit was new, Zun always felt that if Luo Sha used all his strength, the naval base might be destroyed. "Zephyr is a little funny. What are you afraid of when I am here?" Just as he was about to let Luo Sha continue, his expression suddenly changed. "Perform your best. The stage next door is more suitable for you." End of this chapter. Chapter 275 Arrogant Huang Mu. Chapter 275 Arrogant Huang Mu. Peach Rabbit's face was ashen. After finally taking advantage of Aramu's negligence, he mobilized his accumulated strength and attacked continuously to beat Aramu to the point of death. He was about to win. However, a certain CP0 member accidentally passed by the edge of the battlefield and was accidentally caught by Aramu. Absorbed nutrients. After what happened just now, the Navy has taken precautions and cleared the surrounding area. Who would have thought that CP0 would be so shameless? Although only one member of CP0 was absorbed by Aramaki, and the number was not as high as that of the Navy just now, the person in CP0 was still at the level of a lieutenant general and restored Aramaki's condition to about % again. The Peach Rabbit who launched the surprise attack was exhausted, finally seizing the opportunity to make a comeback, only to be ruined again by such shameless means. Taodu did not look at Aramu, but looked at Sakazuki coldly, clearly asking Sakazuki to give an explanation. Not only Orochi, but also the Navy generals all wanted to rush down to help Tao to kill Orochi. Don't you love to be a rogue? Even Sengoku and he who had been silent when Zephyr objected just now clearly expressed their dissatisfaction. Warring States said, Sakazuki, twice is too much. Crane said, Sakazuki, do you think you can still continue? A former marshal and a senior staff officer, the words of these two people have more weight than Zephyr, and it is really unjustifiable for Aramu's shamelessness, Mamatu's desperate counterattack, and Akanu's insistence on covering up. Moreover, the T-Dolphins have been defeated. If the two Navy generals fail to recruit this time's world political recruitment, it will also be a shame for the Navy itself. Sakazuki's cheeks twitched. He didn't like Orochi either, but there was no way. His marshal came to the position only with the support of the 5 old stars. In exchange, one of their generals' position must be taken up by one of their men. However, Wu Laoxing only ensured that those who participated had the strength of a general. Unexpectedly, Aramu's character was so shameless. Peach Rabbit, T-Dolphin, Aramu and Ixiao. In fact, Aramu's strength is the lowest. Sakazuki also knows that if he acts arbitrarily, he will alienate the Navy, but the current Navy must be reformed, and the support of the 5 old stars is necessary. At this time, Rob Lukey complained first, Masters of the Navy, we CP0 people were watching the battle carefully, but we were attacked. I hope the Navy can give an explanation. In addition, should this battle end, it seems Lieutenant General Peach Rabbit is unable to fight. After finally returning to CP and becoming CP0, Rob Lukey must complete the mission of the 5 old stars. Of course CP0 has no right to command the Navy, but at this time Rob Lukey represents the 5 old stars, not CP0, so everyone still has to give him some face. Sakazuki gritted his teeth and finally made a compromise. The game continues. The forbearance now is for future outbreaks. One day the Navy will understand me, Sakazuki. Sengoku and he couldn't believe it. They offended both of them, Zephyr and Garp, who never dealt with Sakazuki. To be honest, it was like what Zephyr said. We took the overall situation into consideration and didn't hold you back. Sakazuki, we understand your difficulties, but if you insist on doing so, you are forcing us. We cannot watch you take the Navy, which has gradually become independent of the government for decades, into the abyss. Sakazuki hopes you won't regret it. The Warring States period has profound meaning. Sakazuki had a stern look on his face. From the moment he lowered his face and competed with King Jai for the marshal, there was no way for him to regret it. Although the few people did not cause any obstacles for him, as long as a few people were around, the Navy could not make a sound. To fight outside, you must first be safe inside. Time will tell. Seeing the outcome of the discussion, Taoju sighed sadly. Why fight? His energy was exhausted. If he fought again, he would be crushed by Orochi. I surrender. Peach Rabbit resigned helplessly, and the emotions of the Navy exploded. It was unreasonable to lose the position of general, and the dissatisfaction with Sakazuki had reached the extreme. Even the extremists did not understand it very well at the moment. Aramaki became excited. Beauty, it seems you are not very lucky. Don't forget our agreement. Aramu, please be honest with me. Sakazuki, who had nowhere to vent his anger, used Aramaki as a punching bag. As forest people with the fruits of the forest, they are naturally afraid of Sakazuki. Even the fire prevention forest cannot withstand Sakazuki's burning. Seeing the Navy's eyes that wanted to kill him, Aramaki had no choice but to say, forget it. But an angry shout could not restore the Navy's confidence. Sakazuki knew that things might not be so easy in the future, but he still said toughly, now I announce that the final winners of the general selection are Ixiao and Aramaki, so starting from today, they will be given the titles of Fujitora and Green Bull. Is there anyone who objects to becoming a new generation of admiral in the Navy? You've even thought about the title, but you still say it's not an official decision? The Navy was even more noisy. This was obviously a script that had already been decided. How could the tea dolphins and peach rabbits win? If anyone is dissatisfied, you can challenge Xiao and Huang Mu. If you win, you will be the new general. Sakaski turned his attention to the vice admirals. This is originally the rule for recruiting soldiers and generals in the world. Many of the world's top recruits who became captains, major generals, and lieutenants through world conscription were pulled down by strong men in the navy in this way. In a way, it saves the merits necessary for promotion of some capable people in the navy. Time is also a good thing. Just like Smoker, a participant who defeated the world conscription through a martial arts competition, became a lieutenant general from a brigadier general and volunteered to be transferred to the G5 branch. At this point, some powerful people in the navy who lack merit are grateful to Akenu, but the selection of generals really makes the navy too cowardly. Moreover, although I don't agree with Aramu's character, I still agree with Aramu's strength. The natural fruits are undergoing photosynthesis all the time. If there is no general level attack power, Aramaki's recovery speed can make the attacker desperate. Except for Peach Rabbit and Tea Dolphin, no one in the navy is Aramaki's opponent. Yes, if you don't accept it, you can continue to challenge me. Don't you all say that I am invincible? Then I will fight you with my current state of 2%. Is anyone here? Huang Mu said so shamelessly that even Rob Luki wanted to beat him. That's enough, Aramu. Defeated in Sakaski's eyes, Aramaki still smiled provocatively at the navy generals. There were a few lieutenant generals who couldn't help but wanted to go down, but were dissuaded by their companions. If they still win even though they know they can't defeat them, the navy will become even more of a joke. Well, since no one objects or challenges, I declare wait, I object. Zepha's voice came, and the broad figure approached, looking at Sakaski unkindly, and then looked at Aramaki. Aramaki doesn't care much about Zepha. Although the young Zepha may not be able to defeat him, the current Zepha can't defeat him. What, Lord Zepha, do you want to play in person? Compete for general again? I don't have any objections. Sakaski frowned and said, Teacher Zepha, what do you mean? Do you really want to play in person? Zepha turned sideways, revealing Luo Sha and the other 3 people behind him. Of course someone comes on, it's not me, it's them. End of this chapter. Chapter 276 Huang Mu's Plan. Chapter 276 Huang Mu's Plan. Who are they? They're not from the navy. Sakaski looked at the unfamiliar Luo Sha, Yikang and Sai Luo. He was sure that they were not from the navy. Even if they were from the secret force, he knew something about them. Not just anyone is qualified to challenge the general. They are people who have just come to participate in the world recruitment. To be precise, they should be your people, right? It is correct to say that Akenu organized the world recruitment. Isn't the world conscription over? Teacher Zepha, please don't make trouble unreasonably. Marshal, the world conscription ends today. They have just signed up and have not violated the rules. You are not planning to keep your word. Someone took the information about Luo Sha and others from Zepha's hand and handed it to Sakaski. Sokka's looked over and his face changed. He was armed with Zai Luo, Yikang with the Scorching Fruit ability, and Luo Sha with the Magnetic Fruit ability. Okay, even if they are qualified, the selection of generals has ended, and are you sure they are qualified to challenge the generals? Akenu didn't want to agree. He knew his teacher. Since Zepha dared to recommend 3 people to fight against Yixiao and Aramu, he was definitely not weak. He couldn't just find 3 people to disgust him. I can also feel that the 3 of them are not weak by seeing, hearing, and seeing. Just because the 3 of them remained calm and composed under the gaze of a group of marshals, former marshals, generals, former generals, and a large number of Navy vice admirals, you knew that they were not weaklings. He didn't want to create any complications. Zepha did not give in, especially after knowing what Aramaki had just done. How could such a person become a Navy general? I guarantee in the name of the former Navy Admiral and former Navy Chief Instructor that Luo Sha, Kang, and Zai Luo are qualified to challenge the Admiral. If any accident occurs, I will bear all the consequences alone." When Sakazuki paused, Zephyr guaranteed with his own personality and honor that it would be impossible to fool him easily. Since Zephyr values this so much, I, the former Marshal of the Navy, Senguo, are also willing to guarantee Luo Sha, Kang, and Zai Luo. Although he didn't know Rasa and the others, Sengoku believed in Zephyr and was indeed very angry with Akenu. He said, our chief naval officer, is willing to guarantee Luo Sha, Kang, and Zai Luo. At this time, a phone bug came out of Sengoku's pocket and climbed onto Sengoku's shoulder. It looked exactly like Garp. I, Garp, am also willing to guarantee Luo Sha, Kang, and Zai Luo. Because he was not suitable for Sakazuki, Garp was training Kirby and others outside, but he had been watching through the phone bug. After all, it was such a major event as the selection of a Navy Admiral. Fortunately, he was not here, otherwise he would have rushed up and hammered that piece of Aramu into sawdust. At this time, the naval vice admirals who were watching also spoke one by one. I, Mama Tujan, I am the T-Dolphin who is Plan, and I am Dalmi Shai Basti. We are willing to jointly guarantee Luo Sha, Kang, and Zai Luo. Zephyr, Sengoku, he, Garp, and most of the lieutenant generals jointly provided security. Even Sakazuki now knew that he could not veto. He also knew that this was the backlash from his arbitrary actions just now to protect Aramu. He winked at Rob Luki and signaled him to inform Wu Laozing. This was not because he was not cooperating. Rob Luki would not be stupid enough to go against all the Navy generals now. Sakazuki said, "Since everyone is a guarantee, it is naturally possible, but there are only 2 positions for admirals and there are 3 for you. In order to avoid a wheel battle, you should choose 2 of them yourself." Zai Luo didn't care. He didn't come here to compete for the general, but he came here anyway. It was good to have a fight. He gained a lot from competing with Kaido these days. According to Kaido, the previous 3 generals were stronger than the Yonko, so he pointed at Kizaru and said, "Aren't there 3 generals? Can't I challenge him?" Kizaru covered his face and laughed. "Brother, I'm so sorry. The Navy's benefits are good and I haven't planned to retire yet." Zai Luo felt a little regretful. "In this case, I will withdraw and let Master Luo Sha and Master Kang come on." Zephyr had some regrets. Although he had confidence in Luo Sha, he had seen the damage caused by Zai Luo. If Zai Luo faced Yixiao and Kang faced Aramu, he was sure that both of them would win. If Zai Luo withdraws now, Luo Sha's strength is unknown, but Yixiao is not bad as long as Kang is arranged to fight Aramu. Aramaki's dense fruit versus Kang's terrifying fireball had absolutely no chance of winning. Sakazuki smiled at Aramaki again and said, "Where are you 2? Do you have any opinions?" It doesn't matter if he smiles, he gets along well with the Navy, and he only recognizes Aramaki's strength, and the despicable means just now are even more shameless. I have no objection. If I can't win, it will only prove that my skills are inferior to others. Aramu raised his hand and said, "I have a problem with it. I need to take a rest after such a heavy consumption just now." "Should be." Sakazuki did not object, nor did Zephyr and others. This request was normal, and even if Aramu didn't mention it, he would arrange a rest. Aramaki continued, "Also, in the battle between me and Taudu just now, many people said that I don't have enough physical strength to bully women. In this case, I ask for the next battle. I fight with the man named Luo Sha to show that I am not just someone who takes advantage." Zephyr was stunned. Someone must have snitched on him. Then he saw CP0 leaving Aramu's side. There was such a big movement just now. Not only Zephyr went to see it, but CP0 also sent people to see it. Naturally, they also saw Kang's powerful burning escape. There is no way Aramu's dense fruits can stop it. So I told Aramu in advance. The admirals were a little surprised. You were not like this in the battle with Jhin just now. You shouted that I only fight beautiful women. Why did you suddenly change your gender? No, Zephyr wanted to object. Sakazuki said, Why, Teacher Zephyr, it was originally the challenge initiated by them later. It is not too much to let Aramu and Yixiao choose their opponents. When Sakazuki saw Yikang's burning fruit, he guessed what Aramaki was thinking. Moreover, Luo Sha is a magnetic fruit. Kid had just died, so Luo Sha had a limited time to obtain the fruit, so it would be impossible to develop it to a strong level. Then it's decided. Yikang will face Yixiao, and Aramaki will face Luo Sha. The battle will begin after a short rest. Which one of you wants to start first? Yikang said, Me. If Master Luo Sha started first, the battle would probably be over in an instant, so it would be better to let yourself start first. I smiled and said I had no objection, so be it. Zephyr was a little helpless and couldn't really refute. If Yikang faces Aramu, he is 100% sure to win, but if Luo Sha can become the leader of the three, it should be no problem. Luo Sha patted Zephyr on the shoulder. In any case, if Zephyr had not led the entire navy with his own personality and qualifications, the few of them might not have been able to fight Aramaki and others. General Zephyr, don't worry. They chose the wrong opponent this time. I will take care of that Aramu for you. End of this chapter. Alright, legends, that's it for today. If you're ready for the next chapter, smash that like button and flood the comments right now. Remember, we've got 3 days to prove this story needs to continue. Subscribe so you don't miss the drop, and I'll meet you in the next audiobook.